Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to an Element Broadcasted Scrim. We are here to start your week off right, and I got with me man of class in the booth today. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Honestly, it's been such a interesting week. I mean, super exciting, of course. We got the new patch out, a lot of new content. Clash is amazing. You see all the new cosmetics come out. We got a beautiful screenshot contest coming. Twitch Rivals is tomorrow. There's so much to talk about. Play safe. I mean, every week we get more. It's insane.
Yeah, and this is the first broadcasted event since that big patch dropped. We got 3 new talents in the game, and we don't even have to break that down quite yet because you guys are going to see them hopefully in the game. I'm hoping some players whip out some crazy tactics to practice with. Keep in mind, though, that like you said, the Twitch Rivals event coming up, as well as the next Element event, are trios. So these players are playing in a solos event today. They have a little bit more freedom to mess around with new stuff. It's not as close to the competitive environment they're going to be entering, but it's still great practice. What do you expect to see coming out here in the first couple matches?
I'm expecting these players to actually kind of already have settled on what they think is good. For a lot of people, we were looking at ambidextrous being like a whole thing, right? Oh, you get that extra skill, and then you don't need to really worry about the class anymore. Certain might be upgraded, but I think from what we've seen so far, the classes that were already good and very popular only got stronger, and the ones that weren't as good didn't necessarily catch up with them with that. So we look at classes like Tempest, even to a degree Frostborn, because you don't need to run Frostborn as a class because that alacrity, which and the lance you'll get anyways if you run ambidextrous if you want. So you can kind of combo it with anything. So that toxicologist with the frost offhand that has even gotten stronger for that specific reason. But of course, not the only talent that got added. There's so much more to talk about, and I feel like it doesn't even do it justice just to try and do it all pre-game because there's so much to go over. We can't.
No, that's a great point, and we're going to hope to see it get laid out in front of us in the games. But before we even start the game, we got the Roman gnome with a 5 gifted subs plus a personal sub from his own. Thank you so much, my friend. We haven't even gotten into the game, and you are already showing us so much love. That is what it's all about here on the Monday broadcasted scrim. Also, a couple other changes to the game itself, or less the gameplay, but more so the structure, is that the queue times have been adjusted just a little bit by Proletariat. Now the system is that it waits a bit longer to make sure the lobby is full. That does impact how we get into these games. It will be a slightly longer break in between games as we line up queues. That's something to keep in mind for you guys as we keep on going here. Just wanted to mention that. It won't affect the gameplay other than pubs, but it will affect the actual break times in between matches. So that is also something to look out for. You brought up the 3 talents, the fact that Ambidextrous was looking to be super scary, but everybody's still just sticking with recovery. So we'll see if that comes out here in these first couple matches. This is also NA East going to first. We are going to be doing a little bit of chat interaction with the broadcasted scrims. We'll try to keep up with the rest of this man of class.
We definitely will. I mean, you're talking about the systems that changed in the game for the queue. We can also talk about the system that changed for us, because if everything goes to plan, if we manage to pull it off, we will actually deny you a lot of the loading screens. You will not see a lot of those because we've got not one, but 2 people behind the scenes today that are actually going to be bringing you some gameplay footage. That means we can just jump from one to the other without seeing those pesky loading screens in game. So more gameplay for you. That's about, I mean, what, 15 seconds you shave off at least every game.
I mean, I'm hoping so. We see that feedback consistently throughout multiple events. You guys have been talking about the loading screens, how obtrusive it is. We understand. We're trying to get workarounds for it as much as we can. You guys understand that the spectator client is a little bit bare bones, but as Man of Class mentioned, we're bringing in a secondary observer today. That's going to be Brett. So shout out to him for helping us out here a little bit. And going to the chat, in fact, Man of Class, we got OSK saying that he was expecting a recovery nerf. I think a lot of people were. Either they bump it up to 3-point cost or they change the regeneration. What is your thoughts on that point right there?
I mean, you look at already, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, but then ambidextrous and recovery will be so good together, but you can't run them at the same time because it's the same talent category. So that was already the first loop they threw at us, and then the recovery not being more expensive or the effect changing a lot, that really threw a lot of people off comfort. Now we're getting straight into it. Play safe. I don't know about you, but I'm already happy, and you know why? I mean, I'm gonna let you take the honor.
Thank you very much, my friend. We are looking at Flaming Dwagon to get us started on this Monday event. We are going to see how he can turn out. We know that last week he had an amazing performance, to say the least. We'll see if Flaming Dwagon can make something of this one today. Rush Frog already with the kill onto Elpadog, and this game is starting quick as we bounce around. We saw Covey in a little bit of a sketchy situation, but we're going to keep on moving. We see another fight. Burn to Toast, man of class. This looks like a hard engagement. He is not getting up close enough. Hits a nice air shot. He also looks like he got a knowledge potion, so he should be able to take this fight. But he's just getting hammered on the back foot, MOC.
I mean, both of them actually took a bit of damage. Both of them actually had belts, so the armor was there. And neither of them hitting a ton of shots. Gets a few toxic sprays on him, but is actually able to dodge away from that. Has to stay out of the puddle, though. That's all you want to do. Don't take the extra tick damage. And now we do see the Conduit's lightning strike coming down. Trying to follow up on that with some fireballs, but the air shots just do not want to hit. Funi gets that kill on them, and Burn to Toast. Gonna have to try again in the next one, but this time around, you have to wait for the next lobby.
Yeah, definitely a surprise to show that he lost that fight with the knowledge potion early. We also are getting a quick note that just for this game, the secondary observer we were just bragging about did not make it into the match. We're going to try to iron that out for game 2, but for game 1, this will be the same format as all the other events. Just wanted to note that as we move into the rest of this match. Tons of kills happening early here, MOC. The kill feed does not stop moving so far, as we see only Styx recently signed up for the trio tournament. We'll see how he can come out here in the solo event, more so on his own. But we got all sorts of deadly players, as now we're watching Majin go one-on-one right into a fight with that Tempest. Pops himself up nicely with the tornado, but now he's going to have to contend with the offhand lightning coming out from his opponent. Going to be hard for him on that Tempest. Jumps over the top side now, looks over the front, and he will not manage to get away from this freeze. Doesn't actually get frozen though. Oh, it's late with it. Now he's going to get popped up. Does get a beautiful shot though. Man of class, this one is going to come down to the wire as he managed to freeze Electric Biscuit. That was all sorts of elemental interactions happening at once.
He did such a good job as well. You know, the Tempest mobility with that tornado is always a nice one to see. Go up, use it properly. Got a few wind shears out, but it was all about hitting those frost shots. Those ice lances were actually on point. They were very nice to see. And when we go over to Twitch Creeps, bouncing all over the map, of course, ending up with Sharp Cheddar. And Sharp Cheddar, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think last week we were criticizing him about not really taking a lot of action. And look what Sharp Cheddar's doing now. Sitting in the castle, looting. And don't want to say that's a theme for the night, but we'll see where you come back to him maybe later. But we get back to Flaming Dwagon, everyone's favorite named hero. Goes straight into a next engagement. Sees something happening on the top and probably trying to third party here. And I think they're going to actually be able to sneak up on this one place. Hey, this is not looking good for whoever they're sneaking up on. And it is a good engage straight away. Has the Shadow Step rune together with their Stone Shaper build right now. Will not really have that much in terms of aerial power because they're running that pyro on the offhand, and that's why the Twitch Creeps TV takes out their opponent. That is not what you want to see, Flaming Dragon going out that early, but I always like to see some more new names coming into the chat. Twitch Creeps TV, maybe throw them the follow if you think they're better than Flaming Dragon at the moment.
And Creeps did a great job actually of just pushing through right forward into the boulder. Flaming Dragon had a good defensive position, but on Toxicologist, Creeps was able to just keep up the push and finish the kill. He's going to be rewarded from that. But now we're looking at Buddha Freestyle. He's got a very interesting Stone Shaper build with Chrono and Frost offhand. And in the kill feed, you can see Majin continuing his reign and Kamsky, a well-known name, also popping off to start us off in game 1. Bouncing over to Don't AMV Me. He's right into a direct fight, throws down a nice firewall, sees another player join the fray. We're going to see a massive fight happening in this Even Guard Palace, as Don't AMV Me is definitely making the decision, Man of Class, to just sit back on this one.
Yeah, but I mean, he's doing a good job of it, and obviously if you want to take some shield potions, why not? It's definitely a good shard spot. And if you have some enemies around you, you want to be healthy for that fight. You want to be able to third party. They do have scavenging though, so it's not 100% necessary if you can get that kill. But sometimes rather safe than sorry, and they do have that high ground advantage versus whoever they're fighting over there. The Toxicologist trying to put back some fire, but those pyro fireballs coming down together with the Toxicologist offhand, that's just a very good place to be for Don't AMV Me.
Yeah, he's playing very patiently into this one, though. You saw him take a couple shots, wait with that peek around the corner to see what his opponent is doing. Unfortunately, it looks like he maybe lost exactly where his opponent was tracking to. but nonetheless, Don't AMV Me will have another chance to get in on this fight. Takes a Firefly, but gets jammed up against a crate. Unfortunate, still gets this opportunity, sees somebody maybe creeping around the side. Don't AMV Me, once again getting blocked by Terrain, just not having his way with it, but does blow up a cloud right in front of him. Now gonna have to trade. He knows this is a Toxicologist, so he's gonna want to get into his face as he lands a beautiful direct shot into a follow-up, and the fire continues to come out from Don't AMV Me as he gets right into his throat and finishes Frith Knight very efficiently. Great kill from Don't AMV Me.
Immediately gets next opponent on them right now. Uses her Firefly fairly effectively. Actually, no, that was the opponent's firewall, but is able to combust a nice toxic cloud. Very nicely done. They are under so much pressure though. Their health is getting low, but so is their opponents. This could come down to 1 or 2 fireballs. They're both on almost the equivalent health, but because I was almost thinking the recovery might save him, but no, it's Rushrock with the Icelands. Gets a beautiful shot to finish off that fight. Now gets the armor shards. Doesn't have the scavenging themselves. Does have recovery on, and actually running that new figure. No, that's figure, right? With the Finders Keepers.
Yeah, that is a very interesting build coming out from Rushfrog. Definitely putting a lot of value into those new potions, such the knowledge and all the rest of them with that Finders Keepers. Also, from that fight itself, very interesting to see Rushfrog take that while continuing to move backwards onto high ground. He was dealing damage while still being conscious about his positioning, and I think that's what ended up getting him that fight. He had a nice angle for the frost shot, but now we're looking at Majin as he shoots 156 through the ridge. Nice hit as he's going to try to take that momentum with him. 14 people left in this game. Now Majin's going to get jumped on, but uses his wind very diligently to continue this pressure. Gets out of the way of the boulder now, waiting patiently for these moves to try to come out from his opponent, dodging appropriately as he looks over with the dash, and he's forced this enemy away from him, and now he might be the one to push it even further. MOC Majin with some beautiful Tempest gameplay, to say the least.
Yeah, Majin so far very much on point, is trying to get the follow-up on this player that they're fighting right now. Definitely has the Ice Lances also really working out for them. Almost gets caught by the Fire Nado, but can of course just use it for mobility instead, and just finishes the kill with the Wind Shears. Nice Ice Lance, and just the extra damage to finish it off with those nice Tempest attacks. Like you said, they've been doing a really good job, and it's actually surprising that they're still running with these rare gauntlets and nothing really upgraded in that respect. It's might come back to bite them later, but for now, they're at least hitting the shots with them. They're getting the kills. They're not really struggling as of yet.
Yeah, now we move over to Bastion, who's into a fight directly. He already has 4 kills on his name, so he's going to try to push that to 5, but this is really coming down to the wire. His opponent is going to move out of the way, as you see Gigabyte in the kill feed picking it up with Toxic, but now the fight is back to Bastion's focus as he looks to go face first to finish this kill. Has the wind in the offense, so you know he has a bit of damage to be consistent, but he has to get out of the way of this one. His opponent just took total advantage of this positioning and hit him with multiple fireballs. I believe that's Rushfrog trying to finish the kill into Bastion. Look at him dance out of the way of the shockwaves, but Rushfrog will get pushed off his position. Couldn't quite get the killing blow, and now Bastion has an opportunity to maybe make something work, getting hit with those fireballs straight to the dome, and Rushfrog will succeed. Another very clean fight from Rushfrog, showing off that pyro for sure.
Man, you do see that both players keep their distance to like a mid-distance fight, but as soon as Rushrock sees that health bar drop to a one-shot potential, he just goes in for the kill. Doesn't want to try and go from range, risk missing shots and getting taken out themselves. And instead, that's just going for work for them. You see here, Darkbreakers gets that kill on the only sticks because only sticks up. Oh, I can heal up in a nice corridor. But Darkbreakers has a Stone Shaper build. He's just got to smack you down with a shockwave and then continue into the zone with your loot. Yeah, it's unfortunate for only sticks. I mean, you hate to see it, but honestly, yeah, gotta pay attention to your surroundings. You gotta listen for those audio cues.
And this is the second time we see a player running Vigor with Finders Keepers. Both Rushfrog and Darkbreakers have decided to go with this build. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, as we look to see how this meta might be unfolding in these solo scrims. But looking at the fight itself, Darkbreakers is just throwing out air shots, only got one of them to hit, and now he's going to see lightning coming his way as well. So he's going to have to be very careful with how he takes this fight. We have seen time and time again in the final circle of solos, the third parties just unravel and the fight never stops. So Darkbreakers has to be conscious with how he takes this. Does back out with the S key Shadow Step, now using his quick second to drink a pop, his opponent spots him, gets hit with the boulder and throwing out the fire as well. But look at the Darkbreakers, he's just dealing that damage consistently. Now he's bouncing up, and this 1v1 is going to get extended. Gigabyte goes down in the kill feed, and we're already down to 7 players, MOC. Game 1 is having a fast-paced start for sure.
Yeah, we see the names in the chat in the kill feed as well. You know, it's Darkbreakers, Primotastic, Player 28, which is could be anything, but could very well be just Marcus again, because we see them often go into that streamer mode. And overall, the fights are just still breaking out. There's 6 breakers left. You see Rushfrog finally taking out that anonymous stream player. The Rushfrog still on the hunt, and it looks like we're getting an Halcyon finish here, which is always very exciting. There's so many structures around here that we don't really have to worry about players running out of space to go to. It is not as conducive to the Stonebreakers, to Stone Shapers, as Kamsky gets another kill, very characteristically of that player, of course. And we'll figure out whether or not Kamsky can finish this off. He's running his Conduit build this time around, so not the Toxicologist with the Frost offhand, as we often see from him. But will be one of the players running the Spellslinger build here, so can switch off their teleportation rune if they want to.
He's playing very far forward for Conduit, just making sure he keeps that high ground, but still watching out for close-range targets with the fire. Look at that lightning damage. Melts this opponent as Kamsky is going to look to finish this kill, but the third party is going to make it hard now. Whoa! Majin goes down with a quick flick of the fireball. Kamsky is just dealing the damage as he gets his way out of this one. 4 people left. Kamsky might take the win here if he can get the resources to get himself back up to full HP and play this fight thoroughly. He's got that Spellslinger Fervor build, all sorts of new stuff coming out from these players in game 1, but let's see if Kamsky can clutch at MOC. He's throwing down his sorceries, making sure his runes are stacked up, trying to get his resources, but he's going to have a hard time. No armor to think of, just has that quick potion that gives 50 on both. He'll chug that right now, but we'll see if it's going to make a massive difference. He's going to have to play this one slow.
I mean, it's always better than having no armor. 50 armor is quite a bit, actually, in terms of what it actually absorbs. Now, Rushfrog is in another 1v1. This is not with Kamsky. I think this is with Darkbreakers. I'm looking at the skin. Might very well be. And that means that we're looking at a Pyro Stone Shaper matchup, which is, in terms of what they can actually do damage-wise with the build they have, is very interesting. But he jumps straight into another player. Rushfrog, under so much pressure, has plenty of health resources, so might do well to just hide and try and heal up over here. And is running that recovery as well, so it's not in complete trouble. Just use the armor pots mostly. But we'll now choose to relocate 2 places actually in the circle so they don't get ticked down by that zone.
Circle is now going to be only closing. All these players have to get pushed into one small area, and we'll see if Rushfrog has the time to drink these potions up. But somebody does spot him off the top. Now you see all 4 players converging on the center tower, looking for the high ground, but who's going to control it? Rushfrog actually concedes and maybe moves to the low side, might want to drink another pot, but he doesn't go for it. Sees the shockwave coming out from what should be the Darkbreakers. Now he's going to move right into his face, but the mana regen just burned him. He would have had a chance to go for the kill shot. He still will now, as Darkbreakers will fall from the ignite. Rushfrog is the center of attention in this final circle, as he's getting beamed by lightning. Spots out another player maybe drinking up, but Rushfrog is just in a disastrous position. Firewall is going to land right at his feet, and the damage over time is going to do him dirty. 7 kills to his name, though, so he's having a very hot game 1, as he will get a chance to drink some potions now. Nice job to break line of sight. This is going to be crucial towards him maybe winning game 1. If he can deflect attention and then take a clean 1v1 with Kamsky or whoever wins this other fight, that is how he will get his way into winning this game 1.
And especially if you look at this, neither of these players have any armor pots unless Kamsky somehow pitched them up, and they put each other on such low health. Kamsky does get that final hit, but he's on such a disadvantage right now. How will Kamsky win this when he's just a one shot away? One good fireball and this is over. With all that armor that they were able to break up, Rushfrog is just gonna get that Elim, takes down Kamsky and takes the first win. And with all those exiles they had on, I am not at all surprised they're able to do that. Able to just sit down, wait for that duel to finish, and then mop up the results, really. It wasn't a difficult win, but it was a very well fought and actually very strategic win. Tactics are important in Spellbreak.
100%, especially in these solo environments where you do have a possible chance to break away from the action and get a potion. We saw it come out there from Rushfrog. He managed to find a spot to drink what he had in his belt. But another thing we want to note is that it is very hard to find potions in the final circle. So Rushfrog already did a great job of keeping his resources topped up, making sure he had all of his pockets full, and getting into that final fight with an advantage onto Kamsky, taking that game 1 convincingly. Ladies and gentlemen, Rushfrog will be playing in tomorrow's Twitch Rivals as well, so make sure you guys are out there to support him and all the other creators who are going to be playing. And also, Crashy himself will be casting the event, so make sure you're there to show him some love. All of them deserve that support as we wait for that event. and we wait for game 2 now, Man of Class.
Yeah, and of course, you look at that final circle, and look at the builds that all these players are running, and it starts to make more sense of why would you actually run Finders Keepers. It's not just because then, oh, you might find some more scrolls, but so much is about those resources, those consumables you can pick up, whether it's just armor shards, small potions, whether it's the bigger ones, whether it's the new bulwark potions, whether it's a knowledge potion, like all these things are actually so valuable now, especially when you're aiming for that final circle, which you should be. If you have that belt, if you have it, if you have the resources right there, you can see that Rushfrog is allowed to make the choice to hide and heal. Whereas Kamsky and even the Darkbreakers, right? Yeah, they neither of them could make that choice because they didn't even have the potions to begin with. So yeah, I mean, all you can do at that point is try and finish the fights as soon as possible because otherwise the ones that do have potions will heal up. And that time dynamic, the time limit you're on, and the way you can hide is really becoming a very important part of what Spellbreak is about. It's not just about getting the kills, but it's also how, when, and you get the kills and how much risk you put yourself by doing so.
Yeah, 100%. And we will quickly remind everybody, but that usually our events are scored according to game. So that game you just watched right there would have been Rush Frog picking up, I think it was almost 10 exiles, massive damage, and a first place finish. So as Man of Class is saying, you do want to position yourself to play safe and get into those final circles. But at the same time, when you play aggressive, you do get rewarded through the score system. Rush Frog just got a little bit of the best of both worlds right there, it looks like. So he's just a convincing match in that game 1 set. And we'll see to start game 2 soon. Again, we did mention that the break between games is a little bit longer due to the changes to queue times from Proletariat. I mean, it's still a great change. I do think it's nice to have lobbies full of more players, but for the competitive circuit, when we do not have private lobbies, it does give a little bit more time waiting for these queues. So me and you are just going to shoot it up right now and wait for this one to burn down. And I'm going to ask you why you don't think we see as much ambidextrous. We did see Finders Keepers come out. We saw Vigor come out. And those are two talents that received changes. But ambidextrous was nowhere to be seen in the game 1.
No, of course, Vigor, one of the other new talents, just gives you extra base health. Very simple. You're just beefier, and it's very hard to argue not to run that unless you are able to gain health, that health advantage somewhere else, right? So it especially when you get it full scrolled and you're in the final circle, that is just so much extra health that it's like essentially 1 or 2 extra shots that an enemy has to hit, and that's just so valuable because if you both hit the same amount of shots and you have it and they don't, you naturally win because you don't have to hit as many. And then on top of that, a lot of players like to now run recovery. It's like the ultimate tank build because you have a lot of health, and even if you take damage on that health, you also get more health back because it's a percentage thing, and all of that just leads to a very survivable build. And if you don't have as many healing resources, or if you don't plan on picking up as many, it is very valuable to be able to just not have to because you have a lot of health to begin with. Yeah, I mean that's why, of course, figure definitely works, and recovery still. And ambidextrous, I mean, there needs to be a reason to not run recovery, and at this stage it's very hard to argue that. You see how well it does, you see how much value players get out of it by just repositioning. Their mobility is really good, and then yeah, ambidextrous feels like a bit of a meh choice.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is one of those things where when you see the title of ambidextrous, the possibilities start popping out like crazy. But when there's
Yeah.
highly effective talents that require less to put in to get more out of them, just like recovery, it's very hard to challenge that hegemony of meta. Also, committing 3 points for that talent is quite an investment. We're going to see how they try to balance that. I understand that balancing talents is one of the harder aspects of balancing this game because they all have to interplay with each other. There's all sorts of interactions with the classes themselves as well as play style. But we'll see how that all plays out in terms of the actual design of the game. In terms of the casted scrims, it's going to be excited to see these Finders Keepers builds come out. I want to see more knowledge potions. I want to see somebody with 8 boulders just roll out a one shot to end the game. I want to see something like that. And I'm hoping that it might develop in these future matches.
Yeah, and it's definitely possible. I mean, like you said, we already saw quite a bit of variety in the builds. We actually saw that one spellslinger come out from Kamsky, which it's not the ambidextrous, but it has a similar type of potential into what it can do. That it can really bring out a lot of creativity in players and quick switches and sort of unexpected things. Because imagine if you don't only have to worry about this player is running Pyromancer, so he has these perks, but also but they're also running a stone offhand, and I have to worry that they also have stone skin before the reason because they're running ambidextrous. Like all those things, if you have to adjust to that mid-fight, it can be very tough to do so. You might not even recognize it in time, and that can lose you games.
Yeah, for sure. It can also lose you games when you pick an early fight and you get run into somebody. We did see it in game one, actually. Potion versus no knowledge potion at the start of a match can be such a game breaker. The other player managed to still kill the man who had the knowledge potion. So, not a huge difference maker right there. But that's one of the things that stands out to me in terms of the knowledge potion is how it defines early fights. It just introduces that element of RNG to these early scraps. And we'll see if it really makes any large differences in these games. Once again, we're just waiting for game 2 to start. We apologize for the slightly extended break, just trying to make sure we get everybody queued up nicely. But do you have any predictions? We have seen some huge names in game 1. Hopefully they all get into game 2 as well. Do you think Rushfrog is going to take this game, the second game as we started up?
Look, last week we saw 2 players get a double victory, like back-to-back victories, and then no one could actually get the hat trick. No one could even get the third victory in the first place. So we might see that this week around. But with the game being around longer, it's going to be super hard to actually figure out where who's going to win. Like we always talked about, oh yeah, but Kamsky's so good, and this player's so good, this player's so good. But we add more and more and more names to that list now, and that means it's becoming more and more difficult to actually predict anything who's going to win, because it's truly starting to evolve. The playing field is getting closer together, and that's the most exciting part. It truly gets to that battle royale nature where anybody could take it if they have a good day.
Yeah, and Soth is an example of that, actually, recently coming out and just popping off in all of these events as it keeps going. And we're watching his fight head on as he dodges that boulder, walks through the firewall without taking the DOT, but doesn't return it onto his opponent. So now they're both lacking sorceries. You see Soth actually has a noodle in one of his hands as he tries these difficult shots from deep, sees that his opponent is rocking Stone Shaper, so he knows that this could go a while if he doesn't manage to burst him down fast enough. Soth is now eating a lot of damage, but approaching very aggressively, sees so much coming out as the firewall from his opponent will not hit him, and it looks like he can secure this kill, but that flame wall was a crucial miss. Soth is now going to have one more chance to really close this one out efficiently before he might get third party. That's going to do it. Gigabyte will fall early, and Soth manages to clean that one up with nothing but a fire gauntlet and some good belt. Now we move over to Cozy. You guys can see that new production tactic with no loading screen. Let's go! And we see how it turns out for Cozy as he's going to throw down a cloud, but he doesn't have the ability to go Vanishing Mists. Now he's going to have to bounce out of this one, Mana Class. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, I see AMV in the chat as well. Don't AMV me. They die early in this round, unfortunately. Couldn't quite get it out this time around. It came actually quite a lot further in the last round. This just got taken out by, it was Electric, we saw earlier on. Meanwhile, we see quite a few names going down. Gigabyte down again. Bastion LMAO already out of it. Only Sticks somehow eliminating themselves, unfortunately. And there goes Zen. Ilie manages to get on top of that, but Cozy is trying to get away from their opponent here, using their mobility to the fullest. So they got that dash rune, so definitely has a lot of that. Not running the ambidextrous, but is running the escape. So their movement should be advantageous. Remember, you don't only get the movement and flight, but also when on your hit, but also when you're just running around. It's a +3 movement now. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, for
Rack
sure.
Session does take him down, though. Did manage to find out where they were and just dunk them in that hallway underneath. Unfortunate for Cozy, but we'll probably see some more escapists coming out later on.
Yeah, for sure. And moving on to a couple notes in the chat. Varillis, I ain't make it in the lobby, second game in a row. Yeah, just a quick note about the scrims themselves. In the actual events, we have limited numbers of people playing in the games to make sure everybody gets in. But in the scrims, we want to keep it as inclusive as possible. So it's just free to enter. Everybody pops in and tries to get into the lobby. And we apologize for anybody who may miss out, try to get into the next one, or play in the secondary lobby. But that is just the system, Varillis. We apologize, homie. And also, don't AMV me. I'm super nervous to start trying scrims. We'll keep it up, man. This is how you get better, as you said, and you'll stop being so nervous as you keep playing more games. We're all invited and included in these matches. We see Drasticon now with common boots on his feet, but we're going to keep on moving. We got TTV Roman Gnome as we see the kill feed just fill up so rapidly. Ace Just Nova gets a kill at the same time that Creeps TV does. So we're already down to 25 people, Man of Class. This game and all games that we've seen in almost all of the solo broadcasted scrims have been super high pace. Back to Drasticon now, as it looks like he's going to be able to finish up this kill very efficiently.
I mean, that's the thing. You're saying like, oh, it's so high paced. But we did some trio scrims a few days ago, And that went even faster. So I'm not honestly that flabbergasted by this anymore. This is all just normal to me now. Breeze gets exiled by Drasticon. Of course, we were expecting that kill to come out. In the meantime, we also see Spree TTV get the kill onto Buddha Freestyle in that kill feed. It's been definitely a pretty yeah, I mean, it's been a fast lobby. But like again, we're used to it. We're used to so much faster now because of the trios lobbies that we've been getting. It's actually going to be insane, and I'm looking forward to this weekend when we get the first qualifier, and it's just going to be, well, probably the first 2 circles and half the people are already gone, if not more.
Yeah, it's going to be pure chaos, and that seems to be a common thread in a lot of these games as we see more chaos right in front of us. Frith Knight is probably going to fall down here, eats his own cloud that got blown up, and now he's down to just 12 HP. Speary TTV will finish that, moving on to the next target now with that Tempest Spellslinger build. Super fancy type of gameplay coming out from Speary TTV as he doesn't actually engage on the final player. Back to Drasticon once again, who's just constantly fighting with those common boots, takes the Firefly double time and gets out with the Shadow Step, might break space, but his opponent still follows him, and Drasticon is completely flesh, no armor to speak of, as he tries to get his way out of this one. Burns Firefly once again, continues to use that in a defensive manner, and might have a chance to drink that safeguard potion, but another player jumps onto him. This is exactly what we've been talking about, just constant fighting and chaos as Drasticon is struggling to get some space. This player will not let him breathe just an inch, and Drasticon is going to have to try to break off here. Throws the boulder, opponent still following. This is going to be the end of the story for Drasticon.
Yeah, only Hoof will not be able to deny killing that kill. Now we see Sharp Cheddar coming back in. Already got an exile on the board, so it's definitely fighting. With SK Majin also taken out. This is definitely a lobby that's turning out very differently than from last time around. We haven't seen Rushrug in the kill feed. They're probably in another lobby, or at least not in this one. Otherwise, I'm sure we would have seen them already. And as Sharp Cheddar has found another opponent to contend with right now. They fell down into the ravine, so Sharp Cheddar has the high ground advantage. He's trying to get on top of them. It actually goes in close and doesn't get a shot off with either their Toxic or their Frost to hit their opponent. Gets a bit of damage out, but definitely gave up a little bit of advantage by dropping down that far. And now they're at least at a good range. I think this Ice Lance is going to work out in their favor if they can stay at this distance. But both players actually choosing to go for the heal or the escape. And there's the third party coming in, the Ice Lance from the high ground. And who might that be? Sharp Cheddar doesn't want to take that engage. He's going to run away again. But we will eventually see them get further placements. And then, you know, at some point you're going to have to fight those enemies. So I'm not all too worried. Legendary Rune, there's probably nothing interesting. Otherwise, it would have been picked up. And we go straight to Rexession on the attack here, using that Chrono to get some health back, but will immediately be taken up again. Apparently, their opponent spotted where they had activated their rune, and now they have to just drink a potion. I think they're actually drinking their legendary Safeguard potion, which is a very cool one to drink. You get all that armor, all that health back without any trouble, and it's trying to shoot their opponent through the storm. It's just dodging and weaving, going back over it, and it will be a I mean, it will still be an engagement between the two. There's definitely trying to be denying Rexession the access here, but it's a good way to use the Chrono, just making sure you can get some shots off, then retreat, and then go back in. And again, the double rune charge, because of that conduit build, is working out amazingly in their favor. It's got the Spellslinger as well, so they got a teleport charge to come back in another time where that conduit comes in just amazingly well, and they're using it in a very constructive manner right now. I haven't really seen anyone use it that well in a long time. So Rexession is now in a place where their opponent has to be really scared to not try running into them again, because Rexession essentially took, well, no extra damage there, just got out of that with full health.
One thing I want to mention that's very interesting about that useful swap with Chrono is that he was using it in the storm, which makes it a lot harder for your opponent to actually see where you popped it. When you're in the storm, it does give a little bit of a graphic. It's harder to spot out an opponent, especially in the darker lit parts of the map like we just saw. But moving on, we see Schniggy waiting for himself to drink some pots, going to keep on bouncing as that beautiful loading screen will show its head. And we see Darkbreakers now up here with the Fire Offhand Stone Shaper build, once again going for vigor with the Finder's Keeper's talent. This has been the theme of these first two matches. It seems like these solo players have settled on this build, a big one for many of these contestants, like Rushfrog, the winner of Game 1. We see Darkbreakers just bunny hopping, shooting some fireballs, and we see Schniggy in the kill feed getting a drop onto Outrix. We are about to get into single-digit lobby, and there is still so much space on the map to be covered. Bouncing over now, we'll see if there's more fights to find, as I suspect there is. Ace Just Nova will fall to Flaming Dragon, as he doesn't get tagged by that deep ice shot, just barely dodges the second one as well, as the lightning is not as easy to get out of the way of. Flaming Dragon now looks for a quick spot to pot, does get spotted, and he knows this is the Chronomaster player, so he can't engage quite yet. Flaming Dragon does get away with this one, MOC. We'll see if he can get even farther.
Oh, has to use that dash rune. Nice momentum keep. You see a lot of players do that. Dash towards the ground and then jump straight away, but it's Rexician. We saw them before with that Chrono. That's exactly the same player. It's probably the only one that's really running it right now. And they're using it to such effective degree. Might want to pick up a bigger belt, but I think they've just done that. Yes, it's a legendary indeed. And they still got some pots left as well. They could just keep using everything, and that conduit build is working out wonders for them. It's of course the prime build to use with Spellslinger because you get those extra rune charges, or you get them back when you use those sorceries. But it is definitely a tough one. Now we will go and see other players do some work as well. But there's only 7 breakers in the lobby, so there's not even that many to switch to. And this is a Frost they're trying to fight against. He's someone with an Ice Lance on their hands, whether it's their main or their offhand gauntlet. And they're trying to scrape him down. It's definitely at least someone that has the alacrity, but that still could be an ambidextrous. Could be our first one of the night.
Yeah, Raxation actually doing a great job of trading into that topside player, shooting multiple direct air shots and getting himself some more space to pot up. Beautiful example of offense as a form of defense in this competitive Spellbreak game. Raxion still has tons of potions in his inventory, as well as that teleport ready to rune swap. We know Zen860, a very big fan of the rune swapping. I'm sure he's happy watching Raxation try to get away with this one. But the beautiful screen transition, shout out to the production team as we look over at Naverson. He's got the Frostborn, so this was the alacrity that you just spotted out earlier, and he misses a crucial shot that would have been the killing blow almost certainly on the potting target, but now Navorson is going to have to try to get around the side of this AoE to get the kill. He is spotted out. Shockwave's dealing big damage as he has almost nowhere to go here. Throws a deep shot, but doesn't get it to go, and I don't think he can decide whether or not he wants to push or back up, and that's going to be fatal for him as he moves across the side of this map.
I mean, crucially though, this is a player that's running only 2 talents. It's the mana focus plus that what's it called, the fervor, and that's nothing we see often. They will go down to Rexician here. That has just been popping all game long. Back on the Chrono player. I mean, why don't we ever switch off it? It's just such an interesting build to witness, both with that conduit main, that fire offhand. It's just looking amazing, and they've got the gear. They even picked up the legendary boots now. Nothing really to scoff at for him. Even got so many potions, still armor pots. Going straight over to Electric Biscuit though. We saw them take out not don't AMV me in the beginning of the game, and now is in the last circles trying to fight out against No Force, and No Force will go down as a result. Electric has to heal here though, has only health potions and that legendary safeguard that they will have to take to get some armor back.
Yeah, this is such a hard position to fight upwards from, though. Look at Raxation's HP and armor advantage, and he has Chrono, so he's gonna have so much time to work with and try to finish this game. But now he's kind of worked himself into a bad spot. Electric Biscuit, though, eating so much damage from that lightning, while Raxation is gonna finish this game. I was trying to think of situations in which Electric Biscuit could turn it, but before we could get there, he just gets melted by that open target lightning. Raxation takes a convincing game 1 with an interesting Chrono Conduit teleport build. Sorry, game 2. My apologies.
Yeah, sometimes you have your numbers mixed up. It's okay. You know, you never really know. You're in game 1 or game 50. It doesn't matter because it's Spellbreak and it's amazing to watch. And, you know, I know why the number 2 was hard to miss because we only had 1 observer in game 1. Then we had 2 in game 2. You know, you get it mixed up. It's definitely one of those things. You know, 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. It goes all the way around, you know, quick maths. But we will now be going into game 3 shortly. Of course, first a little bit of a break, you know, to check out where we can get into the lobby next. It takes a bit longer. So let's look at that Chrono build because, you know, we're talking about, oh, yeah, so fervor and recovery and the talents are too good, etc. Like, see the discussion going on in chat here. They're all like, oh yeah, no, but you know, recovery and fervor, they just feel so good that you cannot like really not play them, and they feel broken talents, etc. But you see a player not run it and still get super value out of it. You know, runs that spell slinger, and everything else. I think actually they might have been running recovery as well. Yeah, they might have been. But still, there's other talent builds that come out from players that are super interesting to see. And with that Chrono rune as well, we criticized it a lot. Like, is it actually a valuable rune? Because it's sort of an anti-movement thing. You can just run away from it. But still, it looks like they were super, super adept at using that, not as a mobility rune, but to kind of trick players into fight them, but to not fight them and then not just run away. So might have been a player-based thing where they think like, oh, I can't run away, but I can't imagine none of these players realizing I need to just run because then there's no way to catch up on me and kill me. And that's an interesting thought to have as well, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And we actually got Rexation in the chat as well. He's saying that he's quite new to the game. So double shout out to him for coming out and taking a convincing W in game 2. Like you said, a great usage of Chrono to actually play front foot with it, not using it as a defensive mechanism, but in fact getting aggressive in its usage. Definitely paid off big time for him there as we wait for game 3. I finally got my numbers sorted out, Mana Class. Hopefully I can count to 8 in the proper rotation, but we will see. And we got all sorts of chats going on about the rune swap win. I know we mentioned Zen860 is a big fan of that, an innovator of rune swap conduit. So he's definitely taken some credit for that win coming out from Rexation. But we'll see if game 3 follows up with another upset. Again, I want to mention, I did see some people talking in the chat about how Kamsky and Rushrug may not have been in that lobby. That is because the scrimming system, we cannot get everybody in there. There's more than 40 people scrimming right now. So the lobbies themselves are comprised of whoever makes it in, and not everybody can. In the actual events, we limit who's playing and how many are playing so that we can make sure that we get the consolidated amount. But for this, it's whoever makes it in. And we'll see what happens in game 3.
Yeah, I mean, game 3 is of course going to be the hype. Can we get another new winner, or will it be a repetitive, with either Rush Frog or a Rexation? It's all possible. I'm looking forward to it though, and I saw someone in chat asking like, what are all these new potions, etc., going on? And there's actually been quite a big change to the whole potion system. Which consumables there are, what they do, how much stats they give back and forth, and where you used to just have small health potions, small armor potions, and a big one, and a big one for either as well. That's now changed. There's so much more going on. You have a knowledge potion, which gives you 2 extra rune charges as well as sorcery charges going on to it until you've used them, and then that limit goes back to what you had before. You have the safeguard potion, which gives you both armor and health back, so it's kind of like a consumable scavenging, if you think about it. And yeah, I mean, it does go over time, not instantly, but still, it helps. And then you have the different sizes in the health and armor potion still. So you have very small ones now. They stack up to 6. You pick up 2 at the time. They give you, they give you a small amount of health or shield back, but they still give you some back. Still helpful. You have the medium size and still the big size. So there's actually so many more consumables, and that's why you see these players with Finders Keepers be in an advantage in a lot of these cases, because if you have the ability to find more potions, you can also find better potions most of the time at a higher rate. And that doesn't only help with scrolls, but it definitely helps with your survivability in later fights on. So if you see people run it, that's why. And that's also why you can see so many different potion icons now, because there's so many consumables that got added.
Yeah, and I think also when we saw the patch notes at first, everybody automatically gravitates towards knowledge potions. Of course they would. It's the crazy mechanic. It was accompanied by a video from Proletariat of somebody shooting 8 boulders in like a second. But the safeguard potion has been a huge facet of these first 2 games. Although it's a little bit more straightforward and doesn't create some crazy situations in the game, the safeguard potion has had a huge presence in these late game circles. Taking 50 armor and 50 HP in a short period of time is huge for these final fights. Even though Rush Frog didn't have a safeguard potion in that final fight in game 1 when he managed to rotate, it still was present with Kamsky when he got into that engagement earlier. So we'll see if these potions still continue to make a difference. I do really, really like the idea of small potions that can be drank in a short time just to get small boosts to your HP and armor. I always think that's an interesting aspect of the matches. And I'm hearing that we actually had to re-queue game 3. So it will be a slight break right now as we try to work our way through. Once again, off the new patch, we're trying to consolidate all of our tournament operations. So this is good practice for both you and for I. So we'll see what we get as the rest of this wait time gets played out.
Yeah, and of course it's not a problem to wait. I mean, plenty of things to talk about. And I always see Jovan, in the chat, you're saying like the small pots are actually more efficient than medium pots, and that makes sense, right? Because if you think about it, it's not only about how much you get back from it, also how long it takes you to drink them. And if you can drink them more and take intervals and relocate while you still get them off, you will almost never have that issue where you didn't quite get a potion off and you had to relocate anyways. So that makes them very valuable, and you can see why so many of these players have their inventory just stacked with those small potions. But yeah, I mean, it looks like we're actually going to go into game 3 very shortly. We actually found a lobby, so that's exactly what you want to hear. And we can bring you more gameplay. And of course, let's see which names did make it into the lobby this time, because it's been a fairly mixed bunch tonight, and that's what you like to see. The variety is what keeps us going. Play safe.
Yeah, for sure. And not just variety in the players themselves, but the variety in the winners. We saw Rexation, who is calling himself a new player. I'm not sure how new, but Rushfrog won game 1, who's a mega veteran. So it's not the same types of people taking these Ws. New players, old players are competing for this. And speaking of old players, we got Sir Passive, another veteran, coming out here to participate in the scrims. And look at that beautiful transition. No loading screen, as Soth is going to pick this fight, hitting multiple fireballs. Or should I just say one to start us off, but then he gets the final for 25. It's just common, so the damage isn't huge, but it's enough to pop Vital Stone. And this player is going to get melted when he comes out of that golden form.
Yeah, I was trying to teleport away. He's actually going to try and get caught out here. Nope, can't get away from a flight rune. Soth just more mobility than that teleport rune could ever give their opponent, and gets that last hit in. Now we go to the next fight straight away. Twitcher Passive is trying to do something to an opponent here with his Toxicologist build and even the fire offense. So they actually do have quite a good stack of gauntlets and loot going on right now. They do need to run for the hills, because it looks like their health is not going to be taken much more. Taking a few potions. There you see the small potion straight away into action. He drinks 2, then way shorter time than he would have drunk that small one. Now is able to use their Shadow Step and their Toxic Cloud in a very nice manner, but it just gets blown up by these firewalls, ticks out, and Flaming Dragon will get that kill.
Flaming Dragon with a beautiful firewall to secure that final tick of damage. We know that he was just 1 second away from surviving, but Sir Passive will fall as we see the rest of this game unfolding. A massive fight right in front of us with Novon leading the charge, trying to get this third-party success story. Just needs one more shot to go. It looks like his opponent did possibly get away with it, but the Vital Stone you see in the distance is now Novon is going to just try to finish this kill slowly but surely, running his way up now. Got that Spring Step off cooldown, will burn it, and this is just one more fireball to call it the end. SK Shaco will fall as we see Soth getting a kill at the same time, and the action does not stop with this new camera angle. We just got there right in time to see Nos take down Burnt Toast. And that's quite a solid set of usernames fighting each other outside of Halcyon here.
Oh, Verilus, unfortunately that your game just crashed and you missed the first 2 lobbies, but there's still 5 games after this one, so you have plenty of time to get in. Let's just hope the game will actually let you and, help you out play the game. You see a beautiful gauntlet on the floor there. It's a Legendary Lightning, if I'm not mistaken, but it's not going to pick that up. It's going to stick with their Pyromancer build and their Frost offhand. And no force. We saw them get quite far in the last lobby, but this time around, they're obviously hoping to go for that win and to use their build effectively. Nothing really creative from them, but here we go. It's Laval running sort of a standard build nowadays. Get the we get the Twitch overlay, and now you can see how we do it, guys. Yeah, we've been exposed. It's just a Twitch stream. We're watching it again. Lovell is coming back in here with that Pyromancer build. That's the Icelands. It is a very, very nice build to work with, of course, but you still have to hit the shots. There goes the Icelands on that Frost. Nope. There's a teleport back up. They're going to try and find them. I think they missed it. Oh, no, they just went off the map, actually. They tried to teleport back on, but they might not have hit the right key at the right time. They just fell to their death. Not a problem, says Lawful. I just picked that up, and I'll get another Safeguard Potion. It's got 2 now. Actually, no, that's not a Safeguard Potion. That looked like a Knowledge Potion, wasn't it?
It's just unfortunate right there. If somebody could edit that over and play some sad music while Exile tried to teleport back but couldn't get a target on ground, just play that, some sort of Sarah McLachlan music to that, would be just a heartbreaking production. But we got Soft in another fight. This player does not stop with that aggressive W key gameplay, as now they're going to try to get this fight off. Sees a Stone Shaper at maybe a bad advantage. Soft now going to have to try to make it work. Eats a huge shockwave to the face as Ace Just Nova takes out our very own OSK Gaming. Rest in peace, young Prince, as Soft is now going to be the next target. Getting over the top, the legendary Shadow Step is making a big difference in his downtime for distance, but Soft still getting followed, eats a major frost shot to the dome, and is now going to have to try to change this fight with very little resources to work with. Oh, Tomoderso will drill one into his chest, and that's going to be the end of Soth's game 3. Moving right over now to Gigabyte MOC, and these fights never stop.
Gigabyte just already finished a fight, got a third party out. Now on the top of this hill, I think they're looking for another opponent that's somewhere in the storm. There they are, down the hill. They're hard to spot. They're actually quite far away. Throwing a boulder up, but you're never going to hit Gigabyte that way. You got to wake up a lot earlier to get Gigabyte. With their conduit build, they have a lot more range potential, a lot more easy aim from distance. Go straight for that, get the fireball, get the finish, and that is Gigabyte with the third exile on the board. Immediately, though, gets another player on them. That's some toxic clouds coming your way, and Gigabyte has to actually get this. Nice tracking with that lightning gauntlet. The conduit is definitely going there in their favor, but Gigabyte cannot just stay out of the storm forever. They need to at some point go closer and engage. They have 3 exiles, but they would like to make it 4, but for sure, they definitely would most likely not want to be one that to be exiled. That's more important right now. We see Sharp Cheddar again on the board, did get an exile, but is once again looking at a fight from a distance instead of taking one himself, but he's getting forced into it. There's an opponent, and Sharp Cheddar under so much pressure. As soon as that fight lands, takes so much damage, and it's only Styx that just gets the kill there. Jumping over straight to the next player. We will not have any breaks here. Oh, it's only Styx. We just get the loot moments. That's always nice to see. Only Styx. Very happy going to be that they took that engage, and that's their first exile. 17 breakers in the lobby. The circle is looking good. If we can get a look at that, where we actually know we're going to be fighting, is Evengard Summit in the center. Ruby Grove, Castle Bogmore. It's quite a nice area, fairly open, not too much of a structure in the way. That could be a good Stone Shaper map.
I mean, Evengard is very good for teleport as well because it offers you a lot of ledges that are quite easy to put your cursor onto with teleport. So conduits might see that and be pretty happy if it does end up concentrating on Evengard. But I also want to mention with Styx's fight right there, he got shockingly low pushing into that fight. I thought it was going to be a surefire thing onto Sharp Cheddar, but Sharp Cheddar almost managed to turn it around. If a third party was there, Styx would have been in trouble. But nonetheless, he gets away with it, and we'll see how he can use this ambidextrous build, rocking that Toxicologist wind offhand to make sure he has the wind jumps. And now we jump over right into a fight directly. It's no force as he's throwing out some ice shots, not quite getting them to go. One more chance here, just barely shaves off the top hairs of his opponent's forehead, as now he's going to keep on this forward push. Does have Pyro, so you know that the W key is quite favorable with this build. Primotastic as well is going to pick up a fire kill as he jumps right into this player. Buddha Freestyle did not see it coming as No Force drops him off.
Yeah, Drasticon in the meantime gets another kill, the Jelly Joke. So we see some familiar names once again getting further, and there goes Gigabyte. Goes down to Paralysis XO. I mean, honestly, not surprising. They've always been doing pretty well. Actually, I think that was them last week that just kept on fighting the entire time. It was insane to see that going on. Now, Tomoderso will be going straight onto an opponent here, trying to third party with that Stone Shaper build. And the Ice Lances, but is not able to spot out their opponent. They're healing behind the structure. They will actually be able to get that exile up eventually if they are able to track down their opponent. But this Stone Shaper is so tricky to get someone off with at range. You need to get a little bit closer to get that hitbox advantage really on you. Just misses the Ice Lances, but will at least be able to get up to this high ground and keep chasing their prey down. Will they be able to spot them, though? Will they be able to get the hit in? I think they might have already left and gone to another place with their own invisibility that they had. And yeah, it looks like they just lost track of him, unfortunately. Flaming Dragon gets to kill the level in the meantime. We go Styx, and No Force gets the kill here straight onto Drasticon. What a beautiful, beautiful play.
That was disgusting. Styx just undressing Drasticon with the double bounce into the slap. Oh my goodness. We're going to have to keep on moving on because there's more fights to happen, but Styx just with the YouTube highlight play as we see Creeps TV now rotating with the teleport does get so far due to that conduit added ability. And he also has a safeguard potion, so we know that his resources are going to be nice and healthy for these final fights. I'm trying to just push that out of my memory what Styx just did to that other player live on broadcast as we see the rest of this unfold. No Force TTV does take out Kara Caitlyn with just 8 people left. Now we see Elsie Bear up on the top side. Looks like they did get a knowledge potion at one point. They're double stacked on sorceries, and focused mana is going to be fully stacked. So the damage and the burst is going to be there for this player as we see them try to position for this final fight, MOC.
Yeah, trying to get in there. Still got actually quite a few resources in their belt as well. Not that much in terms of health, but with that safeguard potion, they'll probably be fine. Will not be looking to get bursted down by a conduit user up on that high ground. I think we all know who that could be. Meanwhile, No Force just keeps on wrecking up the damage over here. Gets carry Caitlyn indeed as well, but Alcy Bear will just get exploded by Creeps TV. Definitely spotted that from the high ground, just dropped on down after a good lightning burst, and will now be able to take a very good position in the circle, trying to go maybe for that mana vault, but I think they're looted up enough. I don't think they need to take the risk. They could just scout it out, see if there's anyone that wants to take that risk instead.
Yeah, well, it looks like Styx has been taking risks all game here. Now he's just spotted out on the top side, trying to get the double bounce, but he's going to sneak up anyway. Does get blocked by the Fortitude just a little bit. Would have been a nice start to the fight, but Styx is going to have to keep on powering through. Shadow Step off cooldown now, does have Dexterity with a lot of points in it. The mana will be quite expendable for him on Levitate, so he's going to work around the side now. Twitch Creeps does take yet another kill. We're down to just 7 people. Styx will take the pot now. Doesn't see anybody directly in his way, and it looks to me, MOC, that Styx is playing this one very slowly. He knows that he doesn't have recovery due to his choice with Ambidextrous, so his fights have to be quick, they have to be concise, and they have to be over very fast for him to take this game. Game 4, game 3, I cannot count today. It is game 3, though. Let me confirm that.
Yeah, it's definitely game 3. You're not completely off here, play safe. You still have some semblance of being here. But Paralysis immediately gets Primo-tastic out of the fight. No Force, that's just been popping though. Like, look at those kills. Kill feed, last 5 kills, it was 3 of them. That, you know that they're on a hot streak, and we often see those players also end up winning lobbies. Paralysis now in a fight on top of this mountain hits a very good firewall on their opponent. They gets beamed down from the back and from the front aside. This is not an easy fight to take. It might have actually been a teleport rune, but there's so many players just fighting in the same area. There's only 5 left, and the kills just keep coming. They keep on coming. Flaming Dragon taking out Twitch Creeps TV, and it's not ending. There's just another loot pile on the ground and another player they're trying to go find out. I think they know there's someone there, just trying to see if they can heal and surprise them. We go back to Styx. That's in a 1v1 with another player. It's a 1v1 and a 1v1 on the other side of that mountain ridge. So they're actually not quite close to each other just yet. That means they can both finish their 1v1s, and we might actually get a duel to finish out this game. It's only Styx trying to chase down their opponent, though. They've got that Toxicologist build, and then the air and the offhand. They can do that because they've got ambidextrous. They actually get a lot of mobility out of their wind shears, as well as they get that invisibility when they go into the toxic cloud. The outbreak, as well as the vanishing mist, is just an amazing combination that we haven't seen really used a lot before. Only Styx using that fairly well, and has got the mobility from dexterity too. There's so much coming out from this guy with the runic fluency. You will never be able to catch up with them. They'll always have the mobility advantage, but they don't really have the health advantage right now. Only Styx, under so much pressure, has taken so much damage, goes into the zone. I don't think he can survive that. Only Styx miscalculating their health total. Oh,
wow,
no.
you need to get your calculator back out, my friend. That was just not the right move. As now we look at Para, who's directly into a fight, trying to exchange with this Toxicologist player, eating some big shots, though, does have the opportunity and drills it. Flaming Dragon will fall. And now we're looking at a 1v1. No Force versus paralysis. I cannot pronounce that word, as this is going to come down to it. No Force has been having a very aggressive game. He's definitely going to try to carry that momentum. You see the HP on both players now. It's quite even until that shot just hit. And now No Force does get blanketed out with the DF. And look at the burst damage. Quickly, they're both quite even, as these shots are just barely missing from No Force. But a 57 with focused mana will flatten this fight out. Next shot wins this entire engagement. No Force hits an air shot, and it's just going to be ticking that ignite. One more to go, and there it is. Para will fall, and we see quite an exciting end to game 3.
You can just see how warmed up players are when they get on those exile streaks, right? You see them go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and at some point in the last circle, they just keep on going, and all of a sudden, oh, that was the last one. Like, they barely realize that they've won sometimes. But I mean, we got to go back and look at Styx. I mean, you walk into the zone when you have like that little HP, and you know it's this late of a one. I mean, the storm is usually not that big of a threat because it barely ticks you, but at that final circle, it really does. You cannot just go outside and heal. And I really wonder what the thought process was there. Maybe they come in chat later, or they'll tell us some other time, like, yeah, no, I thought I had more health, or I thought I clicked the wrong potion. I thought I was getting health and I got armor. You know, there's plenty of explanations for it, but it still was a mistake that you should not be making. Luckily, it's Scrims, it's unscored, so they definitely have more chances to do better next time. And at least it's not a qualifier, right?
Yeah, that's a good point right there. But you know what my theory is on that engagement? I think Styx is so used to playing with recovery that he forgot he had ambidextrous. He did the quick math in his head. He said, I can take 2 ticks with recovery, balancing the middle. But the ambidextrous, he did not account for that. Not quite used to it, maybe. Once again, I'm just taking complete speculation. Maybe he just messed up, and that costed him the game. But nonetheless, let's talk about the winner of that one. No force. He played aggressive from start to finish, not changing his game style for a second. And it paid off in dividends right there. He had the health advantage going into the final fight, despite playing aggressive the whole match. He pushed that advantage, did not let the opponent breathe or reset. And that's a beautiful way to get himself into this victory haul in this Monday broadcasted scrims.
Yeah, I see Blaze Gruda was well asking, like, how do you participate in this? Well, it's very simple. You join the Element Discord, and then there's a role you can get scrims. You don't actually need to sign up. You can just join in. If you want to play now, just get the role, get into the scrim lobby, and then they'll explain to you how you can actually join the lobbies, etc. It's not that difficult, but there's just like a few rules. So yeah, don't feel free to just come on by, join us, and just hop in a Scrim Voice channel every now and then. We have the event calendar, just been linked in chat as well. You can see exactly which scrims are happening. Maybe invite some friends for a trio stream. Maybe just have fun on the solos. It's all possible. You can even meet some randoms, like some other people that just joined the Scrim Voice channel on their own. Just group up with them. It's all possible. We're a community here that supports all kinds. So get in here, get scrimming, and maybe we'll see you on the screen in a little bit.
And one thing I do want to add, though, just to for the name is Devin's point in the chat, we would love to have console players join these broadcasted scrims, but the current way that crossplay works, consoles cannot get in the same lobbies for solos as PC players. Console players are more than welcome to join for trios and duo scrims because they can pair up with a PC player and then they get put into these lobbies. So until full crossplay is brought in where solos can bring in consoles, unfortunately, we cannot coordinate those full events. We hope to one day, or maybe one day, do just console events. But for now, this is all we got. Feel free to join Element, though, and ask questions on when those features are coming, and we'll try to keep you updated as much as possible. Any other notes in chat? No, it looks like we're good. That 57 damage fireball says Dribble Cakes. Yeah, the Focused Mana Pyro is a class that we've seen consistently in solos, almost solely for that reason. You can turn a fight on somebody, they walk up to you, they do not expect to lose half their HP on one fireball, and the entire situation is flipped like a dime.
Yeah, especially because the closer you get, the more dangerous it gets with that pyro. Of course, it's always cool if you hit those long range air shots, but that's not really where the pyro shines. They really shine when you get close to your opponent, when you don't quite burn yourself, but you definitely burn them. Use the firewall for some mobility or for some extra damage. It's all possible. It's a great class, honestly, and yeah, I like seeing a lot of players use it nowadays. And it's kind of come back. I mean, Pyro wasn't as popular when we saw it in the last patch. We saw a lot of Toxicologists, a lot of Stone Shapers, some Conduit come out, maybe here and there Tempest, but Pyro was a bit underrepresented as like the main gauntlet. We saw it often in the offhand.
Yeah, I mean, we did see it quite a bit, like with certain players, though. I feel like the thing with Pyro in the old iterations was that there was players who were very good at it and could play it in a competitive environment, but it wasn't that blanket class that it is now becoming. But now we move right into the game 4, and we got Flaming Dwagon. He seems to be the one we always start the screen with, and nonetheless, the kill feed is going to also be moving. TTV Roman Gnome picks up a kill, Drasticon and Rexation, all getting early exiles in this match.
It's interesting. Bastion LMAO seems to not have their night. They've been exiled fairly early in all 3 previous games. Now that we're in the 4th one, play safe. We're closing up on halftime, and Auto for short is going to go to halftime early because Spirit TTV takes them out with a nice combo there. They're going to go to first here. Has the Tempest build off with the fire? Oh, I'm liking this build though, because they're actually running a fairly aggressive build. Actually got the wow, that's a very aggressive build. A lot of mobility coming out as well. It's got the fervor, and they actually do have that. I'm blanking on the name right now for the talent. Maybe you can help me out. There we go. Recklessness. Interesting, though, they do still run a belt. They're not going full glass cannon just yet, but they might later on. I mean, it's definitely a possibility to go with. No armor, do more damage, but they're not running as much of the full damage as they maybe could. Don't run the focus mana. Don't run one of those other talents, but they're still getting quite a bit of damage in, of course. And now especially, I mean, if they now get attacked, they do double damage, well, not double damage, but extra damage because they're running no armor. Doesn't really help, but Sputnik just beams you down with a lightning strike and some follow up. And we straight away switch over to Paralysis because they are in the fight as we're used to seeing them. Straight away going after their opponent, has the wolf spot, know exactly where they are. And I don't know if their opponent knows that, but right now they will definitely know they're in their face. It's a Pyromancer face down, Pyromancer show off, and Wu is going to come on top of it. That's a nice boulder fall that comes at their way, doesn't quite hit it. And another wolf spot will be upping their mobility as well as their tracking. Paralysis doesn't want to stop, doesn't want to give this one up, doesn't want to let it down, doesn't want to let it go, and is going to try and chase this down with that Spring Step rune. Their opponent has better high ground mobility, will be able to get up on this tower, and as much as Paralysis trying to chase them, they're just getting air shot down from high to low ground. Disadvantaged position for Paralysis. They are trying to get this back. With their talents, of course, they do have a slight health advantage, and the recovery has already kicked in. They are able to pick up some armor pots here, know exactly where their opponents are if they want to go for the re-engage. Don't have to worry for that for now. Their opponent is looking for them. I don't think they know where Paralysis is right now, and that's good. Paralysis is able to make their opponent lose track of them. That's all they need to do. They need to get those surprise shots in, get that early hit, and then you'll always have the advantage. Again, going out the wolf spot, but with all this high ground advantage, they are struggling to get that hit in. And the longer this goes on, the more opportunity there is for a third party. Both of them losing all their armor and quite a bit of health, and Paralysis might actually go down here. They missed their opportunity, they missed their window, and they call me Pop will actually take them down. Paralysis. Such a shame. They were doing so well for a while, but unfortunately couldn't get on top of it. You can see how that lack of mobility can get you down.
Yeah, well, They Call Me Pop actually stayed very, very calm in that situation. He was getting chased for a half minute there, but he still managed to just stay in his bearings, turn that fight when he got the chance, and landed a crucial boulder that actually blocked out incoming damage and secured the kill. But now we see Flaming Dwagon in an engagement of his own. He did drink a knowledge potion earlier, and you can see that due to his sorcery charges. Misses the frost shot, though, and now he's going to have to walk through a toxic tornado, eating so much damage. He has nothing but flesh here, no armor to speak of. Recovery going to help him out just a little bit, but the fireballs are going to be doing most of the work. Jabo does take out our friend Crashy just after Crashy got a kill into just Drew. Going to be a third-party situation coming down for him, but Flaming Dwagon still has an opportunity to change this fight. He's chugging up those mini potions as quickly as he possibly can, and now he's getting up in the fray once again. He's going to have 3 different firewall charges, so his damage is going to be explosive if he can find an angle. Flaming Dwagon just posted up on this high ground once again, looking at this nice little windmill and trying to get another shot at this fight. But it looks like his opponent has completely left the area.
Yeah, right now Flaming Dwagon is not able to find anybody for a little bit of the roam around. And of course you can look at what they're running, and this seems to be a very popular, almost a meta build right now, talent wise, where you look at you both have the vigor, finders keepers, as well as recovery, and now we have Casper coming in here with their Spellslinger build. That's a cool one to see because they're not actually running their teleportation rune, they're running a Gauntlet in the offhand. So for the longer range, they're going to be able to throw the Ice Lances out. Not quite the Conduit build that we're used to that actually recharges those spells really quickly, but at least they're able to switch Gauntlets for the primary fire from either of them. And that's always a good thing to do, especially if you have the mobility from the Tempest to help you out get away.
Yeah, and we got Jovan in the chat saying that this is his favorite build. So that's going to be the Spellslinger Tempest right there. And Casper's going to try to make Jovan proud with this one. 19 people left in the game, no kills for him quite yet. But we do know that this build scales quite well into the late game with that Squall damage and all the rest of it. We'll see if he can make the most of it as we jump over to Primo Tastic, who's right in the middle of a fight. Does throw down a firewall, gets it nicely with a beautiful shadow step backwards to dodge out some incoming shots. But the third party, you can see it. Schniggy is the one to finish off the kill, as he might just try to keep on moving for the third party, keep on this momentum as he hits a 23 boulder from deep. Doesn't have much in terms of mobility other than a shadow step, no fluency, so it looks like his opponent will get the best of this distance.
Yeah, right now we're going to see Shingi trying to chase down their opponent, throwing a boulder fall on them, and that's never going to hit. You see that coming from away. As much accretion as there's on there, never be able to be a whole planet dropping on him. He's not going to be able to take a bit of an armor shard, not in a lot of trouble there, just a medium. But we'll be able to, with that, heal up. They did less track of their opponent, I feel like. I don't think they're actually going to run into them, but that's okay. Sometimes you don't have to chase the kill down and just play for the survival and look for the next fight. And they're going to be able to go back to Casper here, who is actually looking into a third party. There's 2 other players fighting right next to them. And with that Tempest and that toxic offhand, can actually do quite well to go in there quickly and does get it off. Nice combo, nice burst on their opponent, gets blindside after blindside had already eliminated Sputnik. That is it's a good position for Casper to be in. They've got a few exiles on the board, still in a good position for the zone. And now Shingi is still chasing down another player. They just keep chasing. It looks like they're just not able to catch up with anybody today.
It's hard with that Stone Shaper. I mean, he's just trying his best to get in distance, but he's getting burned down by the lightning coming out from his opponent. We see Shinigi actually seeing 2 other players now. He was getting shot from behind, going to have to do the best he can to move out of this position, but the fortune turned on him so quick. It looked like he had the front foot, but now he's going to get spotted in the corner and chased away. Shinigi will go for the big HP pot if he can get it burned down in time, will get it to go, and recovery is going to help him keep that maintained. But nonetheless, not the greatest result that could have happened for Shinigi here. It looked super promising into the start of the fight, but he got pushed off by the conduit into the third party, and now Shinigi's going to keep on moving, sees more lightning coming his way as he gets over the top, breaking line of sight. Shinigi looks a little bit confused as to where he's going to want to rotate into this fight. It can be so hard when you're getting spaced out by multiple people, and now we see him just move into the castle for a little bit of nice and peace and quiet after so many zaps.
I mean, that's honestly the problem for him right now. He's getting kited by 3 players at once, and then who do you go after? And even if you go after them, can you catch up with them? Because it's only a single rare shadow step. It's not even an epic, not a legendary, so your cooldown is too long. It's just so hard to get away from anybody. Uses the invisibility to their advantage, but Cozy had no trouble tracking that one down, able to pick up something from the loot pile. Still running a common toxicologist for their main gauntlet, and that might be a problem later on. Right now, they're at least able to pick up something, maybe read a scroll, because at least you don't have that many red right now. And in the meantime, we're just going to drop over to They Call Me Pop, who we saw earlier on take that beautiful fight against Paralysis. We'll be taking a bit of a shield nerf there, just gets everything taken off at once, as we usually see against a toxicologist. Is now trying to deter them with their pyro shots, gets an ice lance from the back, doesn't quite hit, but this still has to watch out for that angle. And now we're going to see another 2 players go at it, and They Call Me Pop just goes in for the third party, tries to get the air shots with the pyro, gets 1, gets 2, gets 3, and that is TTV roaming gnome out of the game. Unfortunately, no matter how much money they donate, they still have to win a scrim here. Unfortunately, we still appreciate it. We hope we can get you a win as well sometime.
Yeah, but look at the Chronomaster use coming out from the player fighting creeps right there. It looked like he had such a positional advantage, but the Chrono comes out. Now he might just die to Storm. Wow, that was a heartbreaking engagement to watch, as his opponent will live. His opponent won't get credited for the kill, but does survive. And now we see Outrix right into the middle of a fight, throws a boulder, doesn't quite get that to connect, as his armor is going to get shattered from the start of that fight. Breezy does go down to rack 3000, as we are officially into the single digits, as No Force takes out Casper. We see Outrix trying his best to get some resources down and chug these potions, but he's in a hard spot, stuck between a couple opponents who may be on the high ground, and only Styx is once again represented in this final circle, taking a kill onto They Call Me Pop, and Outrix is just moving for it. Does eat a boulder, but he doesn't take much other damage, but there's people everywhere here, MOC. He has to be so wary of where he's walking in, as he just sees multiple people trying to take him down. Throws the boulder, does get it to go for 26, but this fight will not stop. Outrix now just keeps on moving and looks for these angles, but it's going to be so difficult for the Stone Shaper with only a spring step to position properly against 3 oncoming players. MOC, I don't know how he's going to try to turn this fight, but it looks like whatever he's doing, he's throwing the burst, gets a couple shots down onto his opponent and almost melts him, but it looks like Knack 3000 lives with just 5 HP, MOC.
And look who's in the kill feed again. It's Rexetian. Probably still running that Chrono. That's probably the player you saw coming out before in the storm behind... I don't remember who it was. Behind that player that died in the storm. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Knack actually got their ability to jump off to get over that. The spring step carrying on. That's a Chrono. That is indeed probably Rexetian that's coming out on this one. It's testing that build, but it's already performing so well with it. Now it gets beamed down by that conduit build, though. That's a beautiful, beautiful lightning bolt that comes at them. But that's another fire in their wall and they're behind, and Rexation just takes it out. I'm sorry, creeps, I forgot your name, but you're in the chat, so you get to remind me. That's great, right? We have interaction here going on. Also saw a player asking, do we just do random cast games? No, we cast Spellbreak competitive scrims, and we also have an event coming up this weekend, and a lot of qualifiers for trios events. So don't worry, just join the server, keep up with the calendar, follow on Twitter, follow on Twitch, and you'll be able to keep up with everybody and maybe even participate. Meanwhile, we're in a fight because Rexation is going on. I want to have chat interaction, but I also want to cover the fights play safe. It's insane. He just gets off shot after shot. The chrono is helping them out so much. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a bug going on where you see the gauntlet constantly in the back, and that hand is a bit of nightmare fuel, but it's close to Halloween, so we're actually able to keep up with that. That's no problem. Cozy, meanwhile, goes into a fight with an Icelands and tries to hit someone in the back. They're actually third-partying. Wow, what guts from them. Jumps in with the toxicologist, tries to get the toxic spray off, gets a few slaps in, just a few more shots. One more good one will do it, but takes so much damage back. Cozy in so much trouble. Play safe. I can't even take it anymore.
I know the fight will not stop as Kyrie Caitlyn will secure that kill. Cozy had such a great angle but couldn't get it to finish, and now Kyrie is in trouble. She jumps up the top, takes the tornado, gets a nice DF nado as well, might get enough space from that. But these fights will not stop, and that is such a common theme in every game we've seen. Rexation gets another kill. That is his 7th, as there's 2 players left other than him. He might be able to get this into a 9 bomb if he can. He's still so healthy. Got that Chronomaster double stack too, taking some shots hard onto this opponent conduit. Gets up on the front now, looking for that shot. He does have Chronomaster burn, so he will be so confident going in here. Altibear falls to those fireballs as Rexation looks for the 1v1. Does eat huge oncoming damage, but look at the aim! Rexation will not fall as the Chronomaster takes him almost all the way back to full HP. MOC, this conduit chrono build, he just walked that one off right there. Cool guys do not look at explosions, and Rexation had peace of mind dropping that sorcery right there.
No Force versus Vexation. It's a beautiful duel to finish it out, but it was barely even a contest at that stage. You see the health difference in the end and the way that Vexation is executing that build right now. It's insane. More people should probably be running this, but it also feels like a very personal playstyle thing that he's been testing and working out and like, how do I use this? And so far, they've been using it to very effect. I mean, back-to-back game wins, that's got to tell you everything, right?
Oh, 100%. And he just came out with some fire. Like you said, took that game 3 victory, carried it right over into game 4. And speaking of carry it over, we got to carry this over to a halftime break because we still have 4 games remaining. And we have seen so much action so far. So we're going to take a short little break, I believe 5 minutes, just to get everybody involved and get everybody involved, a short little time off, and we can all take a deep breath. Is it too late to join quickly before we go? No, it is not too late to join.
Not.
Join the Discord right now. Somebody will hook you up with a link. Get in here. This is open participation. Even though it is competitive scrims, we are trying to get as many people involved as possible. So during this break, feel free to join in, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as well for your support. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, after that quick little 5-minute halftime break. I hope you guys all got some water, stayed hydrated. I know I did myself. But nonetheless, man of class, give us a quick, short recap of these 4 games we've seen so far.
How quick do you want it? You want to be able to understand what I'm saying, or do you just want to like? No, it's fine. It's like basically we've had 4 games. 2 of them were actually won by what Excretion? I'm just kind of missing how to pronounce the name still, but it's great. And they're running a super cool chrono build with their conduit right now, which is working wonders. I mean, they're doing a really good job of switching out their chrono with a teleport. They have a spell slinger going on, and it's just debating a lot of people because no one's really used to playing against chrono players that much since the rune. I mean, it's a new rune first of all, but also it has been disregarded by a lot of players because it's sort of works against mobility, like it's an anti-mobility rune. So as soon as you use it, you walk forward, you try to chase someone, you just get slingshot it back. That's how it works. But yeah, that's been a very cool thing to see. We've had some other players do very well so far. No Force came in to win one. The second or third game was won by someone else. So what I'm just skipping on that. I don't know if you remember play safe.
It was no Force game 2.
Yeah, but then game 1 was game 1 then.
Rush
that was also See, Rush Frog. That's okay. So we still have a lot of players that are either in or don't get in the lobby sometimes. No, again, we have more players than the lobby can actually easily fill. That's how the queue system works. So we hope to see more diversity even further. And we've seen quite a few new faces, some players that got further in the lobby, some players that actually didn't do that well that we might expect to get further. So it's, as always, a chaotic but super interesting night at the Element Solos. And yeah, that's what we like to see. Because if it's all predictable, then what's the fun anymore in broadcasting it? We might just as well post a summary in advance, and it will just happen that way, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But I mean, in these games, we did talk about ambidextrous not having as much of a presence as we may have expected on patch day or on the
Sure.
release of the patch notes. But we did see Sticks with a very interesting ambidextrous build, and that was Toxicologist Wind Offhand. So essentially, you run Toxicologist with an extra added mobility to an already mobile class. He was whipping it out with the craziest movement, breaking line of sight constantly. Unfortunately, he had a bit of a blunder in the storm, but we are not going to talk about that. I just wanted to talk about the ambidextrous selection. Hopefully, we see more builds, but in your opinion, what are some theory crafted ambidextrous builds that you might think to come out here?
I mean, there are so many theory crafted ones. I honestly don't think any of them are going to come out here. That's just my prediction. I would love it if we forced it to say everyone has to run an ambidextrous build. You know, it's just once we say like you have to run this, and then we can see what it actually looks like. But yeah, Rexation apparently likes the scrims so much that they sub. So thank you very much. I mean, you got 2 wins out, so I guess give us something back. We love it, and of course, 70% straight to the prize pool and 30% to anything we want to do production wise, whether it's paying people, whether it's improving production like this multi-observer thing that we've got going on right now. It's all going to a good cause, and you know exactly how much it is, 30%. So yeah, we appreciate it greatly, and the more the merrier. And yeah, keep on playing. It's free. The game's free. Joining us is free. There's nothing for you have to pay, but of course, always appreciate it.
For sure. And as well, I want to mention on top of that point right there. Also, Raxition says he has to go. So everybody in the lobby can
Oh,
take a deep breath of relaxation. No more abuse coming your way. No more getting smacked by that conduit chrono build. Raxition has to head out. So we'll see who fills in the void of power that will be left once Raxition leaves. But yeah, just talking about what you were saying with these builds, it has been a little bit less of the theory crafting. It's been more just straightforward meta style builds. But the Finders Keepers has come out in spades so far today.
yeah.
Not so much Knowledge Potion being a noticeable difference, but the actual addition of Finders Keepers. Maybe it's because it fills in that 1 point slot. That's a crucial aspect of these builds, considering a lot of these players are running Vigor and Recovery on top of it. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, it's one of the last things I expected to see out of these patch changes.
I mean, you look at the talents that can be fit into that, right? If you have that 1 point, and I think it's dexterity and finders keepers. And while dexterity is nice, you have some extra mobility. That extra mobility will, generally speaking, not help you out as much as having all those extra potions and the extra loot and the extra scrolls. You can get those talents full guaranteed. If you get your belts full guaranteed, that seems to just be way more valuable than, oh, I can jump a bit higher and don't use as much mana for it. Like you'll have maybe one extra spell every now and then, that generally speaking doesn't add up to having more resources as a whole. So it makes sense, but you also see sometimes people go for something else. I mean, we saw it in that one Sticks going out with the uh, as well the ambidextrous as well as the dexterity for the extra mobility. Even go even faster, even further. But it's all personal preference as well in the end. Like we can talk about what balance wise is the strongest, or we can talk about what for you as a player is the strongest. Because no one's running Chrono, but still, Brexation's winning games with it. So it's not all on paper that's just how it is.
And if anybody in chat is new to competitive Spellbreak, we have a lot of things coming up this week and not just from Element. There's a Twitch Rivals event tomorrow at, I believe, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. That'll be starting off, and an Element event on Saturday. That is the first qualifier of a Trios Fusion event. So if this is
Yeah.
interesting to you, if you guys are enjoying everything you're seeing here, make sure you stay up to date with those upcoming events. It's going to be a huge time for competitive Spellbreak, and we're hoping to see you guys all there once again. But back to the matter at hand, we got game 5 coming up with 3 more remaining after that. So that comes out to 8 games total Raxicion has just left. We talked about how the power vacuum is now open. All sorts of great players in this lobby as well. And we'll see what comes out and what happens with it. Focused Mana has also been shown a couple times with Pyro builds that was common in the patch before, but it's interesting to see it stick through even with the new added talents. That new diversity has not made much of a change on recovery, as we talked about. It's just too valuable for what you get out of it, but it has shaken up the meta just a little bit with the Vigor and all those other additions.
Yeah, and so far, every single talent that is in the game, I have seen in someone's hand. I think maybe the only one I might be missing is Thirsty, but I think every other talent I've seen on the screen in a build. It's not like everyone is running the exact same thing or the exact same, like, 7 talents that just keep on mingling. No, every talent has been run. Like I said, maybe aside from Thirsty, I don't remember seeing it, but it might have been there. So you even saw a Vital Stone at some point. Like it's not all science. It's not all exact. Like this is what you have to run to win, because it also comes down to what class you prefer. Also comes down to a lot of other things. By the way, sorry it takes a bit longer to get into lobby. It's just some of one of the complications that we have with the new queue system, but we'll get into it soon. Don't worry about it. You don't have to look at our faces for too much longer. You'll still hear our voices though. So if you don't like that, maybe just mute. I don't know.
That's what I was gonna say. Is you might not see our faces, but you are stuck with our voices for at least another 4 games. We'll see exactly if you guys can stick through and hang out for the rest of it. We should have about another hour or so of broadcast to hang out with you guys. Also, I wanted to mention, if you have any feedback, these broadcasted scrims are a place where we experiment with new things, such as 2 observers, such as chat interaction, even though that likely won't make it into the event. But if you have feedback, we take it very, very seriously. And these events are a great time for you to maybe think of some things that we can improve as broadcasters and as an organization. Feel free to hop in the Element Discord and leave whatever comments you got. We love to read it, and it has certainly made a difference on exactly what we're doing here.
Yeah, 100%. It's always a great thing to be told what you're doing wrong, because then you can fix it. It's what we like. And honestly, I mean, I know it for me. If I receive feedback, you don't take it personally, but you take it as a way like, okay, so now we have more exciting things to work on. That's how it goes. Don't just try to not insult us. I think that's the only thing. Like try and keep it nice. Call it constructive criticism instead of just saying, "Oh, you're bad." I mean, just yeah, maybe we're bad, but if you tell us why, then maybe we can do something about it, right?
Yeah, I apologize for my cat yelling at me. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Usually I have my door closed, but he's coming in and he's got some shoutcasting of his own. He's excited for game 5, just like the rest of us in this building. And I'm going to try to close this door and kindly get him to leave. But regardless of that, and no, I will not show you guys the cat, Jovan. I am not crawling around to go pick this guy up. And we're going to wait for game 5 to get going here.
And
See if
look,
we can see
that's the donation goal. That's the donation goal right there. Play safe. If you reach a certain goal, we get to see your cat on stream. You just have it on your lap the entire time.
He would never stay on my lap. He's too antsy for that. Is he a chonker, says Jovan? No, he's not a chonker. He's only 1 year old, so he's still a thin little cat just working his way through. But we got the game started, so enough about my silly cat. We got Flaming Dwagon. Once again, the first camera angle. This guy must be a superstar.
I feel like our observers are trying to like find him real quick and then show whoever's got him. I honestly don't think this is a coincidence anymore, because that would just be insane if it was. That being said, though, I mean, let's go. We're gonna get more scrims in. Flaming Dragon indeed the one to start off with, still running that conduit build with the fire offhand, and I mean the talent build's also pretty standard. Not really that much going on there. It's fervor, the recovery, and it's fairly normal right now. Not really surprised by seeing that. We see Spirit TTV, saw them earlier on, gets a nice fire nado off there on their opponent, running that Tempest with the fire offhand right now. Gets the first air shot and tries to get some more out. Both players not running any armor just yet because it's so early in the game. But there's the third party. No, it's still the first one. And you exiled first, and it was the first as well. Not in the kill feed, but it was your first in the game. 33 breakers left. Still plenty of Spellbreak left to play, but that's at least a good first circle. And it looks like it's going to be an Eastern one on the map this time around.
Yeah, and we also got OSK Gaming and Crashy in this match. So two
Wow.
casters casting and two casters playing in this
Hmm.
Game 5 scrim. Now we see Adri with that new zombified skin trying to jump over. Doesn't have many items to work with, but he does have a purple fire. Just barely missed that air shot as SK Majin gets a kill onto Dex MTS, and this lobby continues to filter through. Adri doing a good job of looting while fighting, but he doesn't do it well enough as he eats a fireball and is going to take about half of his armor out. Does choose to take Escapist, so his mobility is going to take a bit of a boost, trying to back up, does see he's fighting somebody with a fire gauntlet, and they can trade here. I think he should be a bit more confident going into this fight. Moving backwards like this is usually a death sentence in these competitive lobbies. He does have Spring Step on the double stack thanks to Fluency, but I don't know if this is really a great situation for our friend Adri. He's just getting pushed down by this oncoming player, and look at the dash, continues to come out. Nice air shots, though. Adri is not concerned, just drills King Fizzlebeef and just shuts me up right when I'm talking MOC. He just did it dirty.
Ooh, and no forces already in the kill feed again. Gotta watch out for this guy. And we go straight back to no sticks, still experimenting with this build with the ambidextrous, running that that air in the offhand for the extra mobility that you get from the wind shears, and we'll easily be able to pick up the skill against H-Wall. I also saw some people asking, oh, so can we then maybe get both POVs from people fighting like side by side? It is tricky. We are running already multi POV, and it's definitely something that's interesting for the future. But I think right now, with the way that all the spectating works in Spellbreak, it's going to be very hard to line that up. So maybe, it's definitely something that would be very exciting, right? Seeing both POVs at the same time, side by side. But unfortunately, right now, it's hard to realize. So we'll look into it. But thank you for the suggestion. Looks super exciting. Super excited to get that on my screen as well.
A little bit off topic, but also I wanted to say that if this game ever gets a free cam for spectator, like a camera that you can walk around with keys and a space bar, I would lose my mind. But back to the actual game itself. Sputnik is getting shot down, takes a frost shot, and has to back off here. His opponent definitely knows where he's headed, so Sputnik has to be watching his back for the re-engage. Flaming Dwagon gets a kill onto McWake, and it looks like Varillis has finally made it into these games. We saw Varillis last week, MOC, with a crazy build all about damage, and now we'll see if he's whipping that out again, but we got to go to Roman Gnome first, and just as he gets eaten alive by SK Majin, this is a fast-paced game, and I feel like I've said that 10 out of 10 of the last games we've played over 2 weeks, as Majin has to deal with this third party right away. Shockwave will not land, his opponent jumped right over it, and the fireballs don't go either. Majin will not be too concerned about the storm. It does not hurt him that badly. He also has recovery, but his opponent is just gatekeeping him over there, MOC. He's got to be careful about how he approaches this.
Definitely is, and they're still getting gate kept by I think there's actually another player that's coming out now, but Majin is just chasing him down. No fear, not going home today. Is taking quite a bit of damage from that storm, but of course not a big problem, and he's dealing so much more than he's taken right now. This could be a one more shot, and the fight's over. Majin looking for it, but chooses to go for a pot instead, gets the health back up, maybe goes for an armor shard, but I don't think they really want to take that risk right now with the time they have. There goes one. I think that's a big one, actually. Gets the large one off. That would be very nice if they could get that going. It's a whole lot of armor that will be ticking up in the near future. They're straight running into another player. Both of them far deep in the storm. You can't even see the edge on the minimap right now. And Majin is trying to get those air shots off. Gets a beautiful one. They call me Pop. Unfortunately, Majin just too good today, but still has to come into those later circles. We see Majin actually die relatively early in that mid game. 13 other breakers, 3 exiles. They definitely looking good okay right now, but just get into that safe zone right now because this storm is going to be ticking harder and harder the longer time goes on, Majin.
Yeah, Majin just eliminated that player. Jovan saying with the beautiful fireballs, 100% I have to agree. Majin with a nice flick. And sometimes I find if you're fighting in the storm, you feel an elevated sense of pressure. But Majin just completely disregards any form of that and just eats up that kill. Trago now, we're looking at him. He's got a great toxicologist game. And we'll see if he can show you guys what it looks like. 13 people left in the game, including himself, as he just dashes off ground. Takes a vanishing mist. Nice job of breaking line of sight, trying to reset position on his opponent. Almost gets to use his cloud twice, but it's just going to keep himself dipping and diving. does get on that low ground, unfortunately enough, and his armor's going to pay for it. Throws a couple quick slaps out of the way, but his opponent is not letting this fight settle. Trago's going to have to try to do something drastic, like maybe a third party, and you see it right there. His opponent gets distracted, but still keeps his absent mind open on Trago, as Trago does get tagged while potting, and he hits a shot from deep, but Majin just stabs him in the back, and that's going to be the 4th kill for SK Majin, as Cozy will make it 10 people left. Majin is in a great spot to third party another fight. This is such a great pace and momentum for him as he continues to roll these fights out, MOC. We will see if he can stay on top of this match.
I mean, I'm sorry, but in the meantime, have you seen No Force in the kill feed? Just got 3 in a row. Probably just a big cluster of players at once that all got shot one after another. But still, just got three exiles in a row. Just depopulating the lobby at a rapid speed. We do see Majin go further in this fight. Has the Stone Shaper on the, actually just a Stone offhand. It's not even a Stone Shaper right now. That's actually trouble because that Stone Skin, of course, won't kick in that case. Means they only have the Pyro. The Firefly did help them out. Just trying to get some Fireballs off as well as some Shockwaves. Is currently not really getting the damage out. Tries to go back to safety and heal, but there's more players around the corner. And Majin, you gotta be careful because you might just get shot in the back right now by that enemy you just tried to evade. This is not a safe place to be. They know that you're over here and they might be chasing you. I see Pop in the chat as well. They played it all wrong. It happens sometimes, you know. You can't win them all. And this time around, maybe you'll learn from it, you know. Next time you come back stronger, you don't make that mistake and you win that fight, you win the round in a scrim. Or maybe in an official. It's also possible. Majin now, though, still trying to third party shoot at players from range, not really going for a closer range. Doesn't really have to. Already has got 4 exiles, got plenty of resources, got the loot they want. It's not really looking dire for them, but if you get attacked, of course, you gotta take that fight. Cannot just get shot for free.
Yeah, he's trying to just burst down his opponent whenever these sorceries come off cooldown, but he's not quite getting those massive AoEs to land. You see him take some deep fireballs, but none of those are going to connect either. Majin does have 4 kills though, so the momentum is in his favor as he sees this opponent try to retake high ground on him. SK Majin does establish himself as the holder of this edge, throws some boulders out, but that won't hit again. His opponent's doing a great job of staying on their feet. I'm assuming that's Cozy, considering they finished the fight with Flaming Dragon in the same skin, but I'm not 100% sure. As now we see Majin's just going to get jumped on. Cozy should be the one to take it. There it is. 2 quick slaps and a flick with a Shadow Step is going to secure that kill. And we see Cozy has a Knowledge Potion in the pocket as well, so we might get an interesting drop in the final circle. Tons of clouds could come out from Cozy.
I mean, especially if you look at how many breakers there are left, it's only 3 others. So it's a very good chance that you can just take a 1v1 to end it all with that Knowledge Potion advantage. That's so much extra. There are all those sorceries out. There's no way they're going to dodge 3 of them. Actually, 6 of them. There's no way they're going to be able to outrune you in that situation, especially with that Shadow Step. It's such a great place to be in, and Cozy is in a great position to win out this game. It doesn't have quite the highest level of loot in terms of no legendaries and still a rare Ice Gauntlet, but they're still in a great spot. The positioning is good. They're safe in the zone. They're just playing a little bit passive right now, which is fine. You can use the resource advantage to get the last one out. But this is a great thing to see. Crashy in the last circle. Gets the cast rivals tomorrow. Is in the last circle today with only, well, a few other players left. That's exactly what you want to see from Crashy.
100%, and he's just going to try to ding some players coming in from the circle. He's actually in a really great spot on this high ground, watching the cliff, but he eats a frost shot from the distant opponent. He's rocking that vigor with the dexterity and recovery, so an interesting 3-1-2 coming out from Crashy in this game 5. Does take time for a potion now, has Shadow Step on blue, and gets multiple safeguard pots. That's going to be great for the final circle. We know just how much of a difference that can make as we see Foam quickly bouncing over, throws a DF, hits both of them for 20, and the second actually gets blown up on Conflag. So Foam going to benefit from a little bit of RNG luck in that fight, as he now has time to take a potion. Also running Vigor, Finders, Keepers, Recovery, all of them triple stacked and well read. Foam is definitely in a great position in the final fight here with that zombie skin. We see Bastion got the kill into Dot Lilina, and now this lobby just continues to actually come pretty slow. The final circle is not moving at a rapid pace. All these players are just watching their position, as Foam is going to get out of the way of that incoming frost shot and get himself into a new position. Looking at this mana vault, I don't know if it's necessary as we now move to Crashy, trying to get a deep shot, doesn't get that to go. Looks like Cozy is just going to evade him barely on the top side. Crashy must know his opponent will be moving towards him when he sees that Vanishing Mist come, but he doesn't see anything directly, MOC. This has got to be a weird approach to the front side of this fight.
Oh, he just got spotted out. Their opponent didn't actually see them, but unfortunately, just got ticked down a little bit by that toxic spray. Not a whole lot of damage though. Plenty of armor in the belt still. Actually uses their shadow step to hide behind the rock here, but they don't have the high ground advantage. Crashy wants to get on top there, wants to force their opponent away. Instead, it's going to choose to back off even further, so they can potentially get into a position later on where they're not at a disadvantage. That is, yeah, Crashy rotating now. Did take another Ice Lance to the back to the side. Uses their Vanishing Mist to try and get even further away from everything, but it's so tricky right now. Crashy having to consistently use resources, heal up, and they see even more players around them. They need to be so careful right now because every little bit of damage can just take them out of the game straight away.
If he can get a pot here, though, this is going to be huge. With the Toxicologist, once you're full armor, full pot, you can have full confidence in going for a massive outbreak check. Crashy does see somebody spot him up, and he will have full pots to take this fight now. He's going to confidently throw some sprays out. Gets right up in the face for a 71, but the kill gets stolen right in front of him. Navorson actually hits a frost shot right after Crashy hit the outbreak slap. So the kill will get credited to Navorson, even though Crashy put in all that hard legwork. That is just disastrous, as now Crashy's going to be forced to reposition. 5 people left in the game, including himself, so he might have a chance to get a quick pop-off here, but he did get that first kill absolutely ganked from him, and he will use this nice strategy of bouncing multiple clouds thanks to the spreading sickness and get himself a little bit more distance invisible. But now we see Cozy takes his knowledge potion, so he's going to have tons of sorceries to drop as he gets in this 1v1 spot up, hits some beautiful outbreak with the flick, gets the kill shot onto No Force, and now we've got 3 people left. I'll throw it over to you, Man of Class, as we break this one down and we see Crashy try to make a quick comeback on Cozy.
Yeah, Cozy, honestly, the mobility just uses like 4 runes in a row. Just insane mobility coming out from that one. Of course, Toxicologist as well. You have the Invis, you have the Vanishing Mist. It is all looking so good for them right now. Tries to go for those Ice Lance shots at range. Will not really hit them right now, but it's Cozy, Crashy, and one other player. There's actually only 3 in this small circle left. The high ground position is strongly into Cozy's favor. They choose to go forward, using that sickness in order to be able to get those out, and just jumps back to the high ground. What is Cozy doing here? It is such a good place. They don't have to fight right now. They're actually third-partying and getting third-partied. Cozy going super low. They need to find a room to heal, but they just got out-positioned. Crash, he saw the opening, tried to go for the high ground, but it's Noverse that takes out that last kill. Super well played from all 3 players, but unfortunately, no cigar for 2 of them. That was a finish.
Yeah, and it's also a great play from Navarsen right there to keep that track up. When you're playing a 1v1 final circle with the Toxicologist right there, you have to hit those direct shots right away to keep your opponent at bay, and that's exactly what he did. Drilled both of those back-to-back to take the final fight on not just the final kill, but on the kill before that as well. Navorsen showing off that Frostborn mechanic right there to take us through the game 5. We got game 6, 7, and 8 coming up. And we also saw a lot of variation in that game as well with builds. This has been an exciting event in terms of people trying out new things, and we continue to see that. We got some hearts from Navorsen as well. GG's, my friend. Nice dub.
Yeah, hearts back to you, Navorsen. Definitely great play. And of course, there's 3 more games to go, so you might be able to pick up some more wins and outscore Extraction that we had earlier on, because they are now currently leading with 2 wins. So if you want to get more, you still have to. There's 3 games to go. You can even lose one. You don't have to win all of them. How great's that?
Yeah, you can still get the glory from today's event. But speaking of glory and how we count these events themselves, these are not scored. So usually in the events, we mentioned it once before, but usually you get credited for all points. Points are added up through damage, through exiles, and placement. In this event, it's just straight up games and repetition, but usually you would benefit from all of those different stats. Navorsen would have filled it out right there in game 5. Got 3 more games to go. I cannot count today, Man of Class, but nonetheless, we are going to keep ourselves moving. Just wait a little bit longer than usual for the next queue to start, but we will fill in that time with our consistent chatting.
Yeah, and look, play safe. You know what the advantage is? You're here to cast, not to count. That's all you need to do. So it's completely fine. Every now and then you read the number of the screen, but that's not what it's about. We don't have to do calculations. And even then, your hands aren't really visible right here, down there. So you could just have a calculator next to you. It's possible. Maybe with your phone. It's not a problem. Don't worry about it. And I mean, what I would recommend though to players, don't start doing math while you're playing. The only math you need to be doing is if I don't die, then they have to, because otherwise I don't end up at the last. Like that's how it works, right? You start with 42 players, and the one last standing wins. So that's the only math that you need to do in a game. And of course, don't let those bars drop. That's the other one.
Also, speaking of math in the game, the changes to potions has actually removed a little bit of the consistent math you might have to do. Now, when you drink a potion, it shows on your HP and armor bar how much you're going to gain from that drink. So you don't have to do that quick math anymore where you quickly add up 50. You just drink, drink, drink until your bars look full. And that's going to be nice for the players, as they can just focus on popping off with the mechanics. Who so far today has had your attention the most? Who do you think has come out and surprised you or impressed you in today's event?
I mean, I still got to go to the two-time winner right now, because that chrono was it's just a beautiful play. Like, we have barely seen chrono being used, and to see it used that much and to such effect, getting 2 wins out of it, that's just beautiful. I mean, that kind of tells you how much that rune has as value from. What I will say though, what I saw coming out of that, it wasn't so much that they were able to chase down opponents. A lot of the time, they were lurking. They were waiting in a hidey hole, waiting in a place for someone to pass by them, get that shot off while activating a chrono. And then even if that player turns around and uses that first reactive sorcery or anything, they, even if they get hit by it, they will just get that health back, get that position back, and then just pounce again on that opponent. And it's so nice to see someone, think out their strategy. Okay, if I sit here, someone runs past there, then I have to go there, then activate chrono. Then if I get back to them, I can still attack them again, so that they don't use their mobility to get away from you. Because everyone's first instinct in Spellbreak right now seems to be, I fight back. I don't run away, I fight back. Because you don't expect that chrono. And I wonder how long it's going to take for players to take that split second to see, is it chrono or is it not? Like, do I run or do I fight? And in this situation, it looks to all be fights, which is technically the wrong call.
Yeah, it's also interesting when you see somebody pop a chrono and you see another player completely space themselves out, or at least try to, and throw down sorceries on where they think that target's going to come from. We do know that chrono used to, before the patch where it was re-released, it used to leave an actual indicator of where it was popped. Now it's up to you to keep track of where they popped it and throw your shots directed at that area. It's a little bit harder for players to keep track of it, but I think that was a necessary change, because I do not view chrono as a super strong rune. Of course, when Rexation pulls it out like that, I got to give it a bit of credit, but it has never been a huge highlight. So it's nice to see them make small changes to make it a bit more accessible for players when they're using it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it reminds me a lot of Overwatch. I played a ton of that game, cast that game. You have Tracer there that also has a recall. It's a very similar way of that works. So you get pushed back 3 seconds, I think. But you don't have to activate it and then recall. You just go straight back. So, but it also is really, it's become really a skill of people to read and to like sort of remember, where did that player come from and where do I like showed them? Because so many times you'll see another player just react to it, just flick around like, oh, that's where they were, and they shoot them straight in the head. And that's going to happen with chrono too. It's just going to take time. And I'm super excited that we're starting that journey with Rexation, because if they're going to actually play more, then wow, that's going to be super exciting. And Joven, you're incorrect. There's 3 more games coming.
Yeah, so to answer your question, Killy Secured, no, it has not ended. You got time to hop in here. Make sure you get yourself into the Element Scrimming VC. And we got our on board, we got our numbers guy, Man of Class, is making sure both Joven and I are able to count to 8. So we got Man of Class giving us that information. Plays is not the only one that can't count. Thank you as well for Jovan supporting me with his number game. I'm telling you guys, he did that on purpose just to have my back. I got his back there. But we got Knack 3000 once again in this game. He had a great showing in what it was, I believe, game 3. Now he's going to push onto this player right away. Hits him with a nice Toxic Slap from the CC. His opponent is in a lot of trouble. Knack has to make a quick aggressive push, but he gets hit with some return CC of his own. And now Knack is in his own little bit of a canoodle situation, as he's going to try to work his way around this corner, throws down that cloud. His opponent flies away, and the third party arrives as well, Man of Class. He exiles with the sorcery charge over the rune. I can't believe that landed, as Knack might have a chance to get the double kill right off the bat here.
Yeah, Knack so far doing having a good start. Able to pick up some loot and very smartly. You see them immediately after they pick up that kill. They're not straight away going for that loot pile. They're looking around. Is there no one else? Am I sure I can pick up something? For instance, that scroll that they really wanted. Meanwhile, there's thunder going out outside, but that doesn't mean that this conduit lightning strike is not going to be able to hit some beautiful shots. Both of the players super low. It's literally one blow will finish this, and they're trying to get the lightning bolts off. Knack is super trying. They're actually taking some potions. They have the small ones. They take no time to drink at all, so they actually might have a health advantage, but I think both players are healing right now. Ooh, that was an invisible target. I think they saw that. They definitely did, and now they're trying to get the fill, and they get Virilis. Virilis probably running their classic, glass cannon build that we saw last week do so well. Hasn't been very lucky so far in the games, but that's not surprising. They only just started. They missed the first half, and now they're coming in with their games.
Yeah, Knack had 3 HP there for a second, and he's going to try to peel away from this fight, but his opponent must be following him. He does actually get a surprising amount of separation, looks to upgrade that Lightning Gauntlet. He will switch it up now, and he's going to move his way out of this map. Already has 3 kills in this game, so definitely Knack 3000 is off to a hot start in this game 6. Throws down some more Lightning Bolts at a distance, gets out of the way with a bit of line of sight breakage, and we see the kill feed just blow up. Flaming Dwagon, Mixed Scraggy, and Adri all picking up kills for themselves as we see 26 people left in this game. Knack 3000 now goes for the pot around the side with a quick break of line of sight once again, and he might actually get enough HP to try to turn this fight. He has great items, great loot. It's just the HP and armor that needs to be topped up before he can confidently push this fight.
So far, no force has just been popping all night long. You saw them already in the kill feed earlier on. But right now, they're actually under a bit of pressure. They do have the health advantage. They have the positional advantage. Might even have the build advantage. And it's a beautiful fireball. I know the combust range helps out. It's huge. But when your opponent just walks into a firewall, then just drew, you are never going to win that fight in the first place. No force is just a force to be reckoned with right now.
Yeah, and we see No Force just trying to mop this one up, looking for maybe if a third party will come on to him. But Primo Tastic also getting a kill onto Jelly Joke. Primo Tastic had a fantastic showing last week on Monday when he was out here popping off in solo scrims. We haven't seen him win any games fully, but he's definitely had a presence in the kill feed throughout. No Force as well has been a presence as he's been mopping up a lot of these fights, and he's just got an interesting route. And we see Don't AMV Me now in a fight of his own, trying to keep himself off the ground, but steps on a toxic puddle, so crucial. Now he's going to just work his way around the side, looks for maybe an angle to turn this fight, but it's not going to be enough. He's getting pushed down aggressively. We don't know how low his opponent is, but going for a 7-second potion is not the move. Knack 3000 will be the one to secure that kill, as it looks like he got a third-party opportunity, and now he's going to go for the fourth party onto another player. 4 kills for him. He's trying to make it 5, but his opponent's not going to want that to happen easily. Getting right in his face now. Knack just looking to get that spring step up into the top side, standing on a puddle. Unfortunate. This is just a non-stop action in that early game. 20 people have already been cut out of the lobby as Knack 3000 working his way forward. Does get his cloud frozen as now he sees his opponent is going to reposition as well. Knack might have time now to finally drink up, MOC.
Yeah, it definitely does. We'll get no. You thought though so, but actually, there's just going to be more toxic clouds around. Tries to get a pot off again, but has to just go for the last hit on the Jebo. Actually, Jebo actually takes themselves down. I think they just died to the storm after that lightning strike hit. And Knack 3000 just drinking the pots, trying to get the health back, looking for more resources because they don't have any health left. It's just shield potions, and I think they got to start running for the hills, otherwise they won't make it. Trying to pick up this scroll still. Oh, there's a safeguard potion. They'll actually be fine. No worries there. It's actually another one there. Can pick up 2 of those. Traverse drink the small ones and then pick up those. That would be a beautiful way to go. But right now, this is going to be the big one. Then pick up the other one and keep on running towards the zone. Knack 3000. We haven't seen them so far in the games, but they're definitely showing up now. Don't AMV me. We saw you in the chat. Unfortunately, you couldn't get it off this time around, but you might be getting it off in the future. Meanwhile, we go to Foe 01.
Yeah, Foe01 did look like he had a fight right in front of him, but didn't actually push it too hard. Didn't get it to extend, and now he's just walking around. This is classic, looking for somebody who might be in one of these pot spots. People always like to reset alongside the wall here, and Foe is trying to eat somebody up, smelling blood in the water. Does lose his opponent, though, it looks like. He's just desperately moving around, trying to find back into this fight. Sees the cloud at the top, but so does Naverson. He's also in the area, full HP, full armor, and ready to hunt. Spiri TTV gets the kill onto Tacos, as now we see this unfold. He will miss that opening salvo as now that cloud comes out. He knows his opponent is somewhere, and he's right on top of him, in fact. Naverson just wasn't fully aware of where his opponent was at, and he ate massive damage. Now he's going to try his best to get out of here, but the Toxic Spray will not stop. His opponent is bloodthirsty, and it looks like this is going to be the end of the game for Naverson, as that is Cozy's kill. He's going to have another chance to try to get another kill, except he's got to be careful. This is a hard third party, and Cozy knows it. He's got to work his way backwards. Shadow Step off cooldown. Might get a bit of Outbreak Burst if he can find it, but I don't think he can, MOC. This is not looking good.
No, he's looking for the Ice Lance though, but his opponent has a Flight Rune. Actually, there's a Firefly coming up, nothing that bad. And the Toxic Cloud will actually deter them for a little bit. And that Shadow Step cooldown is helping them out a lot. Got that Runic Fluency, so they're able to get a few more cooldowns, as well as drinking a potion there. Knowledge Potion helping them out greatly. And now Cozy will be in a great spot to just lay it down on their opponent. Always get away, always get aggressive. And they're just going to try and do so. Actually get third party here. That's another player that did not see coming. Cozy's awareness not really on point today, but luckily he's got so many resources that it might not even matter in the long run. Only thing they're really lacking right now is positioning. It doesn't matter. If you're invis all the time, you can just keep running and you'll never be caught out. But so many players are around this area. Halcyon, of course, you can hide everywhere. Go to high ground, low grounds, under towers, on top of towers, inside of towers. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, but at the same time you can run and hide everywhere. So what's Cozy going to do? They're going to hide in their own cloud inside a tower. It's sort of a hidingception at that point. Just get the extra hiding spots out. And yeah, I mean, they're trying to still fight back, but so far it's just been Cozy running for quite a while. So maybe we can get some perspective on someone that's actually doing damage. But now that Cozy's on high ground, that might be exactly what we're getting. Cozy can now start throwing out the Ice Lances. They've got 3 Flash Freezes ready as well because of the Knowledge Potion they drank earlier. This is a great spot for them to be in, and now they have plenty of time to heal as well.
Yeah, with Toxicologist with Knowledge Potion just opens up so much mobility and outbreak opportunities. We saw Cozy be able to bounce around this map half invis the whole time, and although he wasn't using it aggressively, he was more using it defensively. If he was on the front foot, that was 6 different outbreak opportunities that could have been opened up with that Knowledge Potion. Now he will take another quick second. He has Escapist on his build, which is an interesting variation, eating a huge fireball from the oncoming Pyro, but look at the burst damage! Just using his outbreak so appropriately, gets his cloud blown up in his own face, though Pyro was on top of him, and Cozy will get a chance to third party. I think he might make the choice to just back off this fight, but his opponent won't let it happen. Cozy now has Shadow Step double stacked. He will have a chance to maybe turn this, but he's going to keep on keeping himself passive, trying to space himself out, and I think that's the right choice here, MOC.
Yeah, it definitely is. Cozy keeps on so far taking the engagements when they can and when they sort of have to. They're definitely also able to take a lot of distance. We see Flaming Dragon, though, takes out TTV. Roaming Gnome once again doesn't get to that final zone, but will be able to queue up again, because of course we've got still some games after this one. Cozy now trying to get on top of this tower, on top of a player, gets that last smack in, gets no force out. That's not another win for them. It was looking good so far in this game, but Cozy just able to third party that in there and just runs away straight after. You don't always need to keep all the kills coming. Sometimes you can just run and hide. That's what Cozy's choosing to do in this situation. Is being chased though, but has again Runic Fluency. No more Knowledge Potion, but still 2 or 3 Flash Freezes in the bag. Could just completely duke out their opponent by triple freezing them and just taking them out with Ice Lances at close range if they wanted to. But so far, Cozy's just been able to use their running tactics to their advantage, has got plenty of resources to heal up, and that's why we're going to Spiri TV, because healing is more boring to watch it than action.
For sure, and Spiri is supplying us with that action as he gets right in the face of this opponent. Got that Tempest on his skill selection, so he will have so much mobility. Misses the kill shot with Frost, but he's still going to pursue this Exile. Jumping up now, does see the block with the Firewall. Nice work from his opponent to limit the opportunities, but look at Spiri. He's hunting. Got 4 gauntlets with him, by the way, thanks to that choice with the talents. Got that Spell Slinger, so Spiri's going to have all sorts of freedom in what he decides to do here. Boxing is in his opponent, hitting multiple slaps, and this should be the end of the game for whoever he's chasing. But Spiri has to be so careful of the potential for third parties. He knows that people have been watching him do this for almost a minute now, and this will not stand in the face of multiple other solo players. Speary does not get the kill. He's going to have to peel off of this one. Wasn't quick enough to finish that drop, and now Speary's almost in the back foot situation. He does have a safeguard potion, so he will get a lot of resources back for that one, but it wasn't what he wanted. It could have been so much better, as we're going to bounce to another angle within the same castle, and that's Flaming Dragon. We'll see if he can secure some kills of his own as these players continue to box in the center of this closed-in space.
Yeah, so far with only 6 breakers left, it's going to be so close between all of them. They all have their own builds, they all have their own styles of play, and that's what makes it super interesting. None of them are running the exact same thing, and that can lead to a very interesting situation depending on who we get left. Being indestructible for Flaming Dragon is pretty good. I mean, if you can get those pyro shots off, the fire nados, the fire walls, it just brings you a lot of advantage in fights. Does now get spotted out by Toxicologist, who has also a lot of advantage in that indoor area. And that's why Flaming Dragon takes them outside into the open area, into the to the place where the fireballs might not do as much, but the lightning bolts definitely will. And as a conduit main, that's what you like to see. Flaming Dragon sees a third party and says, "You know what? That's fine. I'll just go heal. Give me some armor shards. Great. I don't mind this at all. I'll just go sit on the other side of the circle, wait until you're done, and then clean up the rest." So many players, though, with plenty left. But Speary, this is what we like to see. The Avatar builds got 2 gauntlets in their pockets. Still an ice and a fire in the offhand. Blindside also on the Spellslinger and the Ambidextrous. They'll be able to actually get that conduit benefit as well as the pyro benefit whenever they want it. Blindside now in a duel with someone. Nice Stone Shaper slam, gets a shockwave off. Boulder fall onto their opponent, and they might just be winning this on sheer burst value right now. What a play coming out of that one. Of course, it's a Tempest against them, or at least someone that's running a Ambi or a Dexterous Gauntlet main in order to get that ability up. It has to be Tempest, actually, otherwise you don't get the Tornado. That's on me. Blindside, though, is still able to track their opponent quite decently, not losing track of them, and uses a double boulder fall to get Spirit TV out of there. That's Blindside with another opponent against them, and they still are so happy because they're running Scavenging, so they got health and armor back from that one. No need to stop and heal play safe.
Yeah, he does not need to stop for anybody here. This is the 1v1 to take the game, and Blindside has such an HP advantage. He does eat a massive fireball, though. This is going to come down to it. Blindside is just one shot, but his opponent is low, too. Blindside hits a beautiful... Oh! The double two-piece onto Flaming Dragon. Keep in mind that that last air shot was he was dropping from a different level. That is the 5th game finished right there, and it was a banger.
Yeah, that was amazing. And Flaming Dragon, they haven't won a game just yet, but they're getting ever closer. This was the 2nd place. And after this, you know how how much of a streak they were on that last time. Who knows? They might just win all the games after this and mop it up. That's completely viable, completely possible. But yeah, game 5 concluded. Let's see if we can get some more going. I believe the server this game is on is NA East right now, if I'm not mistaken. So Gary does, if you want to join, now. You do know that it's only, it's PC only, unfortunately, because the consoles cannot mix with the same solo lobbies on PC. But maybe that will get fixed in the future. Right now, though, that's how it be. And Yelly Joke, great on you actually trying to get the PC controls under the belt. If you come from PS4, it can be a bit of a switch, but I've heard a lot of people do it and they're very happy with their switch in the end. So keep on practicing.
And I want to apologize. I cannot count to 8. This has just been the worst topic of discussion today. This is game 7 coming up, ladies and gentlemen. That was game 6 that we just finished. And with that, I will go back to the 5th grade and make sure that I start from scratch because this is just disgusting. I cannot count. The games are just too insane, I guess. Or at least that's what I'll say to myself to get away with it. But that was a beautiful ending. People are mentioning the fact that Combust was the securing factor right there, and we got to point that out. That last air shot was beautiful. The tracking was great, but it did hit the lower ground. That was not a direct shot.
No, I mean, it's the thing is that's the advantage of the class, right? Like every class will have that. Every class will have its advantage. And yes, the combust is sometimes a little bit annoying. You think, oh, why does it actually get anybody? But it's still not the full damage. If you do the direct hit, you do so much more. And the fact that their opponent was so low that they died to that, that's just an advantage of the class. Like honestly, that's just how it is. You got to hit more shots against that because they were just winning that on pure mechanics in the first place. So great job still on the player to win that. And Flaming Dragon unfortunately couldn't play against that. So now that we're going into game 7, that will be a super interesting thing to see if Flaming Dragon can now finally win one. They won 2 last week. Can it be
Yeah,
more
but
this time around?
we
No.
should talk about the winner as well. I know Flaming Dwagon has come close on 2 different
True,
matches, but
true.
Blindside played great right there. That was
He did.
multiple fights coming
Yeah.
down to the conclusion, and I did call out the Combus there, maybe inappropriately, but nonetheless, he played a fantastic match. It is not easy to take 3 straight consecutive fights in a final circle against players of this caliber. Blindside did it, and he made
Yeah.
it look great. So it's just we got to give a bit of credit where credit is due for sure. And I know you're not trying to discredit him. I just wanted to give
Oh,
him a
no, at
big
all.
gas.
But I mean, it's definitely interesting because he definitely showed off the power of that scavenging, what it can do. Because you cannot just keep taking those fights in a row. At some point, you're going to take too much damage and you need to heal. But when you run that scavenging talent, not an issue because you keep getting that health and armor back. That's how Blindside is able to finally get on top of that last opponent too, because they still have health and armor left. If that hadn't been the case, you go back to the earlier games we had where you see these players, fighting out in duels. They're both low. One of them wins, and a third party comes in. Blindside doesn't have that issue if he's running scavenging. If he wins that duel and there's one other player left, he'll always have at least a fighting chance with their health left.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see if he can carry that momentum into these final matches. So to keep it straight, we have 2 games left. The
Yeah.
math has finally lined up, I believe. If I get this one wrong, I am off the broadcast and I'm officially going back to school because we got game 7 coming up. We'll see if we can get some clutch games. We've got 31 people still in here remaining through this long event of games. We'll see who can keep up that stamina. That's another thing we don't talk about enough is staying
No.
focused for over 2 hours of Spellbreak action. Jovan is asking me, is it really game 7? I'm praying it is, my friend, because if it's not, it's over
Look,
for me.
Look, it doesn't matter actually because we just get another game. Like we just keep casting all night. We just say, no, it's game one. It's fine. We keep going. And then, at some point, people will just start leaving. But, for now, we're all good. And I see the wholesomeness in chat. Everyone's talking about, oh, yeah, no, I'm really trying to get better. And then everyone else complimenting each other. Strofo and Carrie definitely having the wholesome conversation together. So keep it up, guys. Keep practicing. That's what the scrims are for. They're not to make you feel like you suck at the game. They're not here to make you feel like you cannot win. They're here to make you feel like you're getting better, like you're improving, and to give you that opportunity to play against the best and to win against the best sometimes, but also to lose against them and learn from it. Now we're going to jump straight into this game, whichever number it may be. Azol already chasing down an opponent, has that common toxicologist and picked up a frost offhand, trying to get the shots off, but lost track of their opponent. Now they're the ones getting chased. Azol, under a lot of pressure, already taking so much from that toxic, using their flash freeze in order to try and dodge some damage, but Dex says no, takes them down, and will now be on 1 exile in this early circle.
Yeah, definitely a clean start to the game from Dex MTS. He is on that Tempest, and we see him on that class selection quite often here. But we're jumping over to another fight. It's Cavendy Hypers. He's getting jumped on as well, right into his face. He flies away with a bit of distance. Tempest is going to give him more mobility once he lands. And Para gets a kill with the fire as well. So he's starting this game off hot. That is his 2nd kill of the match, and Cozy will as well. These are the same names we're seeing start these fights early as we see Casper's angle. This is a 2v1 as they're actually going to turn on each other now. Splash Your Wet. And no, actually that's Magic Mangoes who's pulling that first fight. Does have that Conduit Chrono as well, so he's going to try to turn it. Sorry, Stone Shaper Chrono. Not as good as an effective setup, but he's still going to try to make it work. Casper walking this one down, does have both sorceries off cooldown, has massive AoE at his disposal, but it looks like somebody might be fighting at him from another angle as well. Watches that Chrono start, so he's going to be able to predict it, but see the boulder from distance. There's multiple people in this fight, as Casper will rely on that Ignite to sit down Magic Mangoes and move on to the next player who might be approaching him. Man of Class, he has to keep his eyes open, as there it is. The third party presents itself. Casper has a chance now, but we'll see if he can close this one out, MOC.
I mean, they're definitely on fairly similar health. It's not a disadvantageous position, even though it was a third party. But it looks like their opponent has actually backed off, tried to heal, and Casper is not having that. He says, no, you came to third party me, then we're gonna fight. You're not gonna get away that easy. But Casper, you switched off of the Tempest. You don't have that mobility that you had before, and now you're gonna have to try and catch up with that opponent, unfortunately. And I know that Jovan is also very sad about that. No more Tempest. But then again, can you blame him? Does Tempest ever win?
Yeah, Tempest is a tough class to make work for sure, but when it does, it looks beautiful. We've seen some amazing highlights from Tempest players in the past, and now we see Casper actually getting away with this one. Doesn't get the full secure on the kill, but will get the loot in the middle, which is almost as good. Now he's going to see all this stuff in front of him, all these delicious jewels, but he doesn't decide to pick any up. He's ready to keep on moving, or should I say looking for where this opponent escaped to. Will have a chance now to read some of the scrolls and drink a couple pots, but nonetheless, Casper still has to be happy with this result. 2 kills to his name to start off this match.
Yeah, it's a very good start. Of course, still getting into more combat, but who's definitely getting into more combat is Speary. We saw them in the last round, and they got very far, and they're still running the Tempest with that. Still the Spellslinger, and they're still trying to go for that Avatar build. You know, the 4 elements, because the Toxic and the Offhand now still has a Fire and a Frost. Going to be a great one to look out for if they can actually switch that out. Because again, we mostly see the rune swaps come out from people running Spellslinger. But it would be great if we actually get to see someone swap out those gauntlets mid-fight. And I mean, how amazing would it be if we won a round? It's definitely possible. Got very far last time. We see Dode and Vimy getting a kill in the Foam. They got eliminated a few times early on in the last few rounds. So good to see that they're still on the board right now. And Speary is just looking for the next fight, looking for the next place to go as Puddle Jumpers takes down Burnt Toast.
Yeah, Burnt Toast will fall as we see Speary just totally observing this map. We might just bounce around and try to find some more fights as there's already just 19 people left in the game. We get over to Virilis now, who's looking at some loot on the ground. Wonder how that got there. Probably a quick drop. Looks like 2 people must have fallen for all that to be piled up. Virilis is going to shoot from deep. He is rocking that glass cannon build. The damage is going to be so high, but he has to be careful about getting jumped on. Hits a target in Invis for 81, and Virilis should die here due to that unlucky blow up on the cloud. Nonetheless, a great snipe he got onto the approaching target. He will have a bit of a chance. Jumps into the storm with such low HP. This is a risky move. Virilis must know that his opponent did not expect him to jump deeper into that storm. Now he will get the appropriate space he needs. Very big brain play coming from Virilis right here, MOC.
Oh, and he finds a knowledge potion. That's the one we're looking out for the entire day already. Gets all those extra charges. Now is able to come back into it. And with that glass cannon build, getting extra charges on your runes and your sorceries is even more devastating than it otherwise would be. See, Dex also trying to get back into that storm will easily be able to do that. And remember, it doesn't really tick that hard right now. So you can easily take some damage even when you're that low as Virilis was just now. Dex is trying to catch up with their opponent, both actually using that Tempest, it looks like. And that's something we haven't seen that much of, Tempest. And now it looks like we already see 4 or 5 players coming in that gets Gyarados out of there. Should have involved even further. Just the Magikarp, getting out of the Magikarp form was not enough.
And Speary TTV dies in the storm. I really would have loved to see what the context was for that one, but nonetheless, moving on, E-Bols gets a kill onto Cavendy Hyper, and again, this lobby is just moving so fast. Dex MTS has gotten another kill to make it 2 for himself, and he's rocking that Escapist, something we see a lot more in Tempest because of the way that move speed scales with the wind jumping. Gives you a lot more feeling of control and distance when you're making use of that wind jump passive. 14 people, like we said, and Dex MTS is in a pretty solid position to make some work happen in this game. He's got that 3 stacked on the Runic Fluency, needs a bit to go for Fervor, but other than that, man of class, his loot is looking almost perfect.
It really is, and we see it coming out in the kill feed for that reason. You know, got Gyarados out of there, and now they're just moving. Look at the mobility; it just gets up and up and up on this mountain. It's got the Escapist on as well, so it gets even more speed than you usually would. Remember, it's not just when you get hit; it's the permanent +3 speed on your running and on flight. And with that zone coming out here in the far north, it's a very interesting place on the map to be. Like honestly, you like landing here, but rarely do you end up in a late circle here.
Yeah, well, now we see Tacos in a bit of a fight of his own with that nice new skin. And look at how fast it looks like he's running. By the way, for anybody who's just worried about what they just saw, that is a spectator bug. When you wind jump backwards, sometimes it bugs out and makes it look like you're running. So that was not Tacos breaking the game. That was just a quick little visual error. But nonetheless, he looks like he's got that nice new skin on him as well. Tons of move speed available to him with those boots, and he's just chugging his way through the map. Dex MTS gets another kill, this time onto Buddha Freestyle, and Tacos sees somebody up in front of him as well, and he's going to definitely move into that fight as soon as possible. Jovan is correcting me. Apparently it is an intentional tech, so that is my bad. Sometimes I must have mixed that one up with a different bug. Taco's actually showing me them new mechanics as he picks up fight directly, hits some nice shots with that switch to the Fire Gauntlet, got that Spell Slinger and making good use of it as well. Taking some lightning shots from deep, but doesn't get too many of those to land. Does get his opponent completely cornered, and this should be the end of the fight. Tacos does make a quick miscalculation with the Shadow Step and sees his opponent has gotten into this maze. Going to make it a little harder to track him with all these walls, but Tacos is doing a solid job. MOC, I don't know if he's going to be able to, I know he's going to be able to finish this kill, he should, but will he be able to get away from a third party considering how long this fight is going?
Maybe still plenty of health and plenty of mobility, of course, going on, but that Spellslinger build is really what this is all about, right? Switching consistently between that fire and that lightning gauntlet to get the damage out from range and from close up. But the burst is not enough. TTV Saladez will just get that off and take them out. Unfortunately, no Spellslinger for you today, but there we go back to another Tempest player. Dex coming in here with the Tempest and the Toxic offhand, trying to get the shots off on this player, uses their aerial mobility to great effect. The Squall is coming out at large today, and they're picking up the loot. They're able to get the kill, and Dex is in a great position to go further in this game. 9 breakers and a zone to speak wonders about when you run this build.
I cannot believe that Z's Legs just killed Tacos in that engagement, though. I was talking about how sure it was a kill. I was just worried about the third party possibly jumping onto Tacos, but he doesn't finish the first one. Zlades does a great job of dealing him the quick burst, but he still dies in Storm. So it looks like our hero will not last through a distant future. Dex MTS, though, did get a nice kill, and we're going to switch over immediately to Maju, who's in a fight real close. Got that Stone Shaper on selection. Going to be a bit tankier with some sorceries to boot. Maju does get eaten up with that Toxicologist. That should be Cozy, but look at the return damage coming out. It's not enough. Cozy's going to power through all adversity and finish that kill, but Dex MTS wipes him so fast, Man of Class. We didn't even get to see that happen as Dex MTS jumps in for the quick third party.
Yeah, the Tempest of Dex is just popping off today right now. I see Jovan in chat as well, super disappointed in all these Storm exiles, really. And I mean, you're correct. I mean, it's super sad to see people die to it, and you would rather have just a fight go on where you can see them die, or see them get exiled, or even get exiled themselves. Now, Dex using their mobility to great effects, able to get away from their opponent with, well, precision, speed, really. All that mobility, just got to be careful they're not getting caught out. Beautiful tornado, actually a poison nado coming out there. A Toxnado? I don't know. Do we have a name for that? It's all good. We got Dex coming out of it with the almost jumping onto a fire nado. Is really low on health right now. Has to find a moment to just get a quick pot off, even though they're already on the chase. And they do get some, but one shot might still just finish them off. They don't think they really got enough off there. Go for the armor shots onto their opponent, and no force will take them out. Unfortunately, Dex not able to make it to the final 3. With the final 4 now, it's going to be no force versus 2 of the other players. One of them was Dex, but not anymore. So we're still working with Salades, I think. Oh no, they also died. Wow, who's even left anymore at this place at this point? Play safe.
Yeah, I'm not even sure considering the way that this is unfolding in front of us. We got to bounce around to see exactly who's left. But other than that, the fight will still continue even with us being a bit disoriented. We got Carrie Caitlyn with 4 people left. See if they can pull out a big dub here. Got that Spring Step double stacked as Casper takes out Puddle Jumpers. So to clear it up just a bit, we got Carrie Caitlyn, Casper, and No Force in the final 3. Now we're jumping over to Casper's angle as it looks like him and No Force did a bit of trading off the front. Casper has Pyro with that ice offhand. Unfortunately, it is only green rarity, so the damage isn't going to be as high as he might be hoping. Does have Recklessness, though, so that's an interesting choice to match up with the rest of his build. Kyrie Caitlyn should be off to another side. All of these players just in different corners of the map waiting patiently for this to get cracking. Casper just saw that opponent moving a little bit, but changes his focus onto the next, goes to the far left, and is still positioning on the back of this cliff. Doesn't want to go too far into this engagement. You know how crucial it is in these 3v3, in these 1v1v1s with 3 people left, to not be the one getting third party. You have to time it so that you are the engager in that last fight. Casper is doing a crazy job of just dishing damage on all angles, takes a fireball to the face, but moves up aggressively. Look at how quick his HP bar is going to go away. No Force just eats him alive with that focus mana burst, and now Kyrie Caitlyn's going to go for the 1v1 onto No Force. We will see exactly who's going to take this, as No Force has a big disadvantage on armor, and Kyrie Caitlyn is going to position on the high ground. Man of Class, we are going to watch this one unfold. You take it away.
Air shots! Dude, that was amazing. He just comes in with a double air shot, gets a third one, gets a fourth one. No Force just cannot miss. And Carrie Caitlin, you were just in chat saying that, oh, I feel like I'm improving though. And that was confirmed that you were going to get better, but no Force. What a force to be reckoned with. Like, look at that. Just look, it was literally air shot after air shot after air shot after air shot. Out of like 6 shots, he hit 5. That was insane. That was just, melted is not even the word anymore, Sheik player. Like, I think that's just exploded at that stage.
For sure. He just got evaporated off of the map right there. Those air shots, like you mentioned, are huge. And we did talk earlier about Combust helping with connections, but on shots like that, that is just you and body target. And he was drilling those ones. Sorry. So No Force takes his second win of the day, and he might be able to take that credit that we talked about at the start. If he wins game 8, he is the winner of the scrim just off of unofficial rules. Also, we got that Pascal Siakam jersey. Let's go. Oh, yeah, my friend. Got a biased Raptors fan in the building right here. But nonetheless, back to Spellbreak. One more match to go, my friend.
One more, and we're almost there. I mean, we're almost at that place where you can say, like, yes, this is where we can decide who was the winner of the scrim, or whether we just had a lot of different winners. And honestly, we've had quite a few. It's truly not done yet, but it's definitely a place where you can start wondering about that, like who is the actual best player at this stage. But it is game 8, the last one coming up, and we actually got to confirm this time. It is game 8. Not gonna discount anymore. And even if it's game 9 or game 7, we're just gonna call it the last game. So everyone's clear. Nothing after that. If you still want to join, I think they're already queuing up. I'm sorry. You're going to have to come back next week if you want to be on a streamed one or somewhere else in the week, because we don't do only stream scrims. We also do scrims just as a rule during the week. So check out the event calendar. You'll be able to join in. No problem.
And we also have an event on Saturday. So it's not just this coming scrim. If you want to join in on the real events, make sure you get yourself a part of that Discord. Jovan just dropped the link right there for you guys to go check it out. So there's all sorts of competitive events for you to get in on. Just an unfortunate 1v1 we saw at the end there. Kyrie Caitlin had a shot of taking that victory, had the HP and armor advantage, but the burst coming out from No Force's Pyro has been insane all day. And that was almost like a climax of all of those games we've seen so far. No Force just blowing that final fight out of the water.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just how it goes sometimes. Unfortunately, I don't know. I'm trying something here. It doesn't work. It's fine. We got more Spellbreak to go, so hopefully the gameplay will just save me and I don't have to talk about this anymore and be Pega. It's okay. We're all here. We're all here to do some fun Spellbreak. But it's been quite a night so far, and we've seen so many different types of builds coming out. Even all that Tempest success in that last circle, it was still looking so good. I think Gary Caitlin was also running a Tempest. So we were talking about, oh yeah, no one really wins with Tempest. And in the end, no one did, but they came darn close.
Yeah, very close indeed. And we will see if they can redeem themselves in the final match of the day. And we did mention it before last game, but we'll bring it up again. These players must have a certain level of exhaustion. I know I might after a bit of this 2 hours of casting. So we'll see if they can stay consistent in their performance. It's not as easy as you might think to play through these high intensity lobbies, especially if you're in a position like Blindside or No Force, where you're going into those final fights. You're playing the whole match. So to stay consistent, to stay focused is one of the challenges of these events. And that's part of why these practice sessions are so important, because it's hard to replicate that type of consistent pressure. And these players are doing their best right now throughout these games. And we got one more to go, MOC. I'm going to throw out a hard guess here, just looking at the scrimming VC. We got to fill this time with some chatter. So I'm going to throw out my guess, and I'm going to say Cozy wins this game. I still see him in the VC. I know he's probably queuing up. That's my guess right there. Game 8. It's going to Cozy with a toxicologist.
It's time. It's time. It definitely. I feel like it's time. Like they come so close. They get so many eliminations, and it just doesn't quite come together in the end. I mean, I'm not looking at the VC, so I have no clue. I'm not going to make a guess. I mean, you talk about consistency, and you guys in chat, you think you have it easy just typing everything. Imagine having to say everything about the game all the time. Like we also need to practice. That's why we're here. We also do try to improve our craft, as they say, with a very classy line. It's cool for us too. And of course, when you support Element, you also support us a little bit. So that's always appreciated. But what's really cool is that with all this practice with Element and every other practice that we have been getting, one of us, Crashy, is actually getting to cast Twitch Rivals tomorrow. So we now we're here and saying like, okay, he got that, sure. Now we got to practice harder. Now we got to get there, play safe. Now it's our turn.
For sure, and we all know that Crashy deserves that so, so much, and it would be much appreciated if all of us could go out tomorrow to support him. Once again, that is at 1 o'clock p.m. PST or 4 o'clock p.m. EST. So make sure you are there to support not only Crashy, but also the other members of the community who are playing in the event itself. It is going to be a blast. I am looking forward to that event so, so much. But for now, we see Game 8 starting here, MOC, and we'll see who can take it. Starting off with Primo-tastic. I think the first time the camera has not started out with Flaming Dragon, and Primo is going to be on the start of the show here.
I mean, are they even in the lobby? That might be the only reason why. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. And we see so many kills immediately in the kill feed. Lobby already down to 30 breakers. This is the aggro time. It's like everyone decided, you know what? Last game of the night, let's go for the full blown out. Burn Toast, Pendragon, Radish, Knack 3000, Edrin, like everyone is popping right now, and it's just great to see. It's calmed down a little bit, but as I say that, of course, Pendragon gets another kill off of that one with the wind shears. Might see another few Tempest builds in there, but right now we're on TTV Slades. They were actually quite deep in the last game, got quite close to that last circle, that last 1v1v1, but unfortunately not able to make it.
Yeah, now Slades is going to just move on to this fight directly. Going for those air shots, doesn't get any of those to go, but the first shot did land, so he has a bit of an HP advantage. His opponent is not afraid, though, continuing to run him down, and now Slades spots out yet another player joining this action. He will have a chance if he can split this fight to maybe get some space, and now it looks like there's 4 players contributing to this scrap. Slades gets blown up by Witty Wizzy, as now Witty's going to have to try to pick off the other players who have joined in. Throws down that lightning sorcery, but he is just in such a tough spot. Sees his opponent take a quick shadow step, and Witty is just doing his best, but sometimes your best is just not enough. He's throwing down that Firefly, does get a bit of that backside area, and walks right into yet another player. A heartbreaking result as Witty is just doing his best, shocks himself, and that's doing you no favors as Frith Knight will secure.
Frith Knight gets that kill off. Will now be able to try and continue their rampage. They're running a escapist build as well. And when you run a toxicologist main, you already get that mobility. The escapist just invigorates that. That's a great build to see. No recovery, but that might not even matter if you just never able to be hit or to be seen or to be, well, dodged. So Frith Knight going to continue on this battle with the next player they saw. That was the first party that was chasing down their first kill. And yeah, I mean, they're doing a pretty good job of following up on that. Unfortunately, when your opponent has flight, you're just not going to be able to catch up with them half the time. So unfortunately, that's going to be it for that engagement for now. Meanwhile, in the chat, Virilius, yeah, unfortunately, if you have some issues today, that's unfortunate. No more games for you today. I mean, they might keep scrimming after we stop streaming. That's still possible, but you know, that's how it be. And meanwhile, we see Casper just beaming someone down with their conduit, with their lightning offense, and still got that fireball to just get the last hit in. Oh, they actually spotted out that last player. They knew where they were. They actually got some heal pots off, meaning that Casper has to do a little bit more damage than they maybe originally thought, but they're just going to be beaming everyone down. That Ignite is going to maybe finish it off already for them, but instead they're going to have to chase this down. The Feather Fall is not going to save you this time, and Blondie 23 is going to be eliminated.
Yeah, nice follow-up from Casper right there. Managed to stay on top of that enemy the whole time through multiple breaks of line of sight. So he's going to earn that kill very well. Knack 3000 also getting the kill into Pendragon Puma. And this lobby will continue to filter through. 19 people left. Casper just needs new amulet and new boots to maybe do him a little bit better on loot. But look at that. He just walks through and replaces about half of his gear, reads up a scroll, and he's going to be in a great spot. Speary TTV also getting the kill into Cavendy Hyper. He's got Recklessness on this build. What do you think about that selection with the Recklessness and Runic Fluency on Pyro? Not something you see as much.
No, definitely. Recklessness feels like a very old Reckless build. But we don't really have time to talk about it because you can just get to the next fight. Yebo is just trying to defend themselves against this player following them. They don't quite manage to do it. Primo-tastic does take that kill, but Primo always also looking very low. So they just have to start and heal up. And if a third party comes in now, they might be in trouble. But in this area of the map, that rarely happens. It's a fairly quiet one there over there in Mossburn, in these swamp areas. and Radish is in much more trouble than that. Outside of the, is both actually inside of the storm, taking some tick damage, running the recovery, but that might not save them enough. And with that dash rune, they don't really have a lot of long range ability to get away from their enemy. Under a lot of fire and blindside, we saw him doing well, amazing before, and is still running that a very aggressive ambi with this ambi build with the actually with the scavenging still. And that's what's so good about it. You can keep switching off of those gauntlets, get the last hits in, and then secure it that way to get your health back.
Yeah, this is a very interesting build, actually. Spellslinger as well, comboed with the ambidextrous. Just multiple options for that passive selection, and Blindside is making the most of it. But now we're getting over to Maju. He's throwing down some damage and getting traded on. Hits a nice air shot with the follow-up 32. Some beautiful shots coming from Maju, who is on Stone Shaper. So those are just regular-sized fireballs as he misses a boulder. And now he's going to have to just get this kill shot onto the opponent with great movement. Maju now on the low ground front side, drinks the pot, small one, just for a little bit of extra resources, and has almost completely lost track of where his opponent is at. Sees him now and just follows it up with a beautiful shot to the dome piece. Maju now rolling through, does have Spring Step off cooldown, and with that rune charge, they can fully flip this high ground on top of their opponent, as you see it now, but the dash rune was used to dodge out of the way of Maju's incoming shots. He will have one more chance to reposition and maybe get this kill, but if you mess up now, it's over for you as Maju is just getting traded. Primotastic will finish that kill very cleanly. Does have that escapist option as well as we get right over to Casper. These fights do not stop MOC. He's going to have to deal with this one quickly.
I mean, he has to, but there's actually 3 players around here, and Casper's just the one third partying it all. Might just get both of these kills, steals one, and then just finishes up the other. That's definitely a possibility that can happen here, and he's looking for it. Indeed gets the first one onto Talkos, and has the other player run away. It looks like it. They just use their firewall to block out the line of sight, get the scroll off. Nice mechanic, just use it that way. The Firefighter chase down their opponent. They might be healing, but Casper is not going to take care about that. Meanwhile, Blindside has blindsided another opponent potentially, but might get blindsided himself. Takes a lot of damage to that armor. Nice toxicologist against them, and with that Stone Shaper and that Pyro, they cannot really do a lot of aerial damage. But it doesn't matter if you have the if you have the Spellslinger, because you can just switch back off to the Lightning Gauntlet, back to the Fire Gauntlet, back and forth. That boulder with a massive hitbox doesn't quite hit it because their opponent manages to jump away with a nice Spring Step, and now they see something coming from behind them. Blindside might be caught between a rock and a hard place. It's of course very ironic when you run that Stone Shaper yourself. Gets the freeze off, actually gets an Ice Lance almost in their face. Blindside in so much trouble, manages to try and get away towards the structures over here to take some health, but it's not going to be that easy, I'm thinking. Blindside just gets into a crevice to drink those small pots and actually runs into someone else who's healing, but they fly away. Blindside completely blindsided actually, and is now just trying to hide, and successfully doing so at the moment.
Yeah, he will get a bit of space, does have ambidextrous selected as we talked about earlier, so he will have that flexibility, is waiting for somebody, challenging somebody to walk into this little room with him to just blow them up. 13 people left in the game as Casper gets the kill onto Tacos, and Kyrie Caitlyn is back in the final circle type of situation, has to wait for a couple more kills to drop and might be able to get into that final fight. 13 people left now with Kyrie having 1 to their name. Drinks a couple potions now, but sees the opponent coming up. Gonna have to try to take on this 1v1 in the open ground. Also sees that his opponent has the Stone Shaper, so has to be careful about walking into that fight. Throwing down some Toxic now, avoiding the ground as much as possible with that Tempest, but look at the lightning damage coming from that offhand. Kyrie now just going to back off this fight completely, doesn't want any of this action after realizing just how much damage and burst this opponent is willing to do. Kyrie getting onto the ground, has to be careful once again of the incoming shockwaves. Touches that boulder very cleanly, but has to move out. Kyrie definitely needs to reposition here. That lightning is just doing so much work on the back end of this fight.
Yeah, Kyrie Caitlyn again in a fairly late game position. Only 10 breakers left. Sees the mana vault, but I don't think anyone's really going to be interested in that one, seeing as it's in the storm right now. And it's going to just use that Tempest to get further into the safety of the storm. Or outside of the storm, really, because you don't want to get hit by it, but gets spotted out. I think there was some conduit shots coming their way, and indeed it was. Kyrie Caitlyn, you're going to take this fight. You're going to try and get the safety first. It looks like your mobility advantage will at least help you out a little bit, but you do take some shots to the face. Kyrie Caitlyn's got to be very careful about this one, and is looking to be doing so. It's definitely able to at least escape the grasp of the opponent for a little bit, and not trying to get to that zone. Outside of that storm, won't be taken over anymore. Just throw some, well, throw a Toxic Cloud here and there. You know, just make sure that the the battlefield is nice and spread out with some resources. Nice toxic NATO actually coming out there, and will now be able to try and fight this opponent that they were chasing around for long and then chased by. Don't have a lot of armor though, and with this huge toxic slap coming into their face, Carrie Caitlyn might be in a lot of trouble. That was maybe a fight you should not have taken right now. You at least got the high ground, but as soon as the opponent comes over the hill, you'll be in a world of hurt. Is able to actually be safe for now, just using their mobility of the Tempest to be in that tree. And this fight is actually taking a little bit of a break.
Yeah, it looks like people in the chat are very supportive of Kyrie taking this game. She's doing a great job of staying herself alive. Almost got dropped right there, but managed to find the reset in this little bush. And we see No Force getting the kill into Cozy. Now just down to 5 people remaining. Bouncing over to yet another angle. It's Foam as he's taking this 1v1 on open ground. Got to be careful because look at this player jumping on him as well. Foam is almost certainly going to drop down here with very little resources and very little time left. Jumping now does get that line of sight to break, sees that the Pyro is still chasing him, and actually decides to just turn this, blows him up with that configuration combination, and Foam will find the kill to make it 3 on his name. We got this breaking down here, 4 people left, and Foam is going to have a bit of time to pot up. We see No Force now, the target of some lightning shots. Getting over the side, might look for this angle, must have drank a knowledge potion at some time because they have 3 firewalls stacked in the pocket. MOC, we will see if No Force can take this game to claim glory on today's scrim. This would make it 3 wins for him if he can secure this W.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were alluding to when we started the second half. So, well, you only have to win 2. It's fine. Like, you don't have to win that many. But then you'll be the winner of the scrim at least. And No Force so far on a very good trajectory to do that again. Has got a lot of legendary items, still a good items in the belt. The build is full, almost fully read up, just missing that 1 scroll on his fervor. But we'll be able to shoot from long range now. Only 3 other breakers, and they're just fighting together. So easy shots from No Force just from range might just be able to be given this game by the low health targets that are going to be left. 3 players fighting each other, only 2 fighting each other now, and No Force just comes in as the cleanup crew. Only 1 to go, knows exactly where they went off to, behind a tree, trying to heal. And who is this?
Oh!
I think it's Casper, and yeah, that was just a shot. Wow.
Oh, shot him through the trees, wow. Looking like Duck Hunt. Get some sleeping right there to take 2 kills back to back and end that game 8. That is the final match of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking with us for today's broadcast. We hope you guys enjoyed the new tech we whipped out with that double spectator, all that new stuff, all the new builds. Man of Class, give me a couple words to end us off today.
I mean, look, there's actually quite a few things we can still say play safe because there's so much to remind people of. No, first of all, no Element, Scrims. We do it every Monday we stream them, but we're also going to have Spellbreak Academy on Saturday. There's Twitch Rivals tomorrow with Crashy. There's Scrims throughout the entire week. Just check the event calendar. If you want to, you can even support us with subs. I see Jovan, got another sub in just at the end. Beautifully done. And yeah, I mean, just keep on track. Join the Discord, follow the Twitter, follow the Twitch. You'll always be up to date with competitive Spellbreak. Fruitastic gets another one. I know. I see. I actually got another one from the Roaming Gnome, but another few gifts. You do great service and us a great service. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think that's at least all I have to say. But there's probably even more that I forgot to mention. Play safe. So you take it away.
Yeah, it's just the basics. You dropped it off right there. Make sure you guys are here for Twitch Rivals tomorrow. That is not an Element event, but oh my goodness, is it important for Spellbreak overall. And we do have Crashy, like you mentioned, representing Element with some beautiful shoutcasting. We all know he's going to do a fantastic job, but let's make sure we're also there to give him that support and love. Also to the other creators who are going to be there. We have an event starting this Saturday, which is a trios event sponsored by Proletariat. $1,750. I believe is the final pool. So make sure you get yourselves in there, get yourselves qualified for that. Make sure you get your team together. And I believe that's all we got, Man of Class. I think that's enough for the day. We just want to say thank you as well to everybody who not only played, but watched us today, said hello to all the rest of us in the chat. And yeah, I think we got it up. I hope you guys have a great week.